There we go. We are live.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, folks.
We made
Welcome
it.
to the Random Generated Party podcast. Huge
Is that what we're
thanks.
calling it? Random generated party.
Yes.
There you go.
We don't know who's going to show up every fucking week. But
Yeah. Well, we got Mr. Potato Head. I'm sorry, the Russet Lord has made an appearance tonight.
The Russet Lord has made don't stop busting on rock balls. But in any case, listen, you are watching on the Tenkar's Tavern YouTube channel.
Oh, we're branding now, aren't we?
We're
branding.
We're branding. We are branding. It's like a network of fools.
Yes.
In any case.
Yes. Oh, we're going to be the new Geeks and Gamers Network.
Yeah. To my stage right is Matt Jackson.
Hold your other hand up, Matt. That's what you get. That's what you get for taking care of business on your own too often. Those calluses, you got to get the cast.
Don't fuck with Matt because he'll put that cast up your. In any case.
Oh,
and for your GURPS fan, this is what happens when you make your high pain threshold saves, but you failed your injury saves.
Yeah. Matt didn't know he broke a bone. He just thought he had a niche.
And the best part, in December I was lifting weights. Like, what the fuck? Anyway.
And this is what you get when you. Army strong, man. Army strong. Next to Matt is Joe the Lawyer. With
hello.
I don't know what that graphic is.
It's from this Warhammer Lost in the Damned book or something like that. It's a picture I've always thought was one of the most badass pictures I've ever seen. So I chopped out the most badass part of it and put it in there.
Well, there you go. Below Joe is Rob Conley, Bat in the Attic, and the potato with the I guess the organized crime hat on their head. I don't know what else to say. Is none other than Greg Christopher. So God bless.
I killed the Russet Lord and took all of his bling.
Bling, bling, bling.
Oh God!
Well, that fight was literally a definition of a blanket beating. So.
Yeah, we
that being said, my character
with a Thor sacrifice.
My character,
yeah.
No, it was a bit of a beatdown. So
yeah, Rob is having us play test an adventure he's doing. What is it going to be called, Rob? Or what is it potentially going to be?
I don't know. I'm reluctant to give it, but it's nominally Deceits of the Russet Lord.
Deceits of the Russet Lord. And so you say russet. Rob knows that russet's the color. None of us dumb motherfuckers know russet's the color. So we're like, potato. So it's the Potato Lord and Mr. Potato Head.
They named the potato russet because it's the color russet.
Dude, we're Americans. We don't know that shit. You know?
You're assuming an awful lot from your players there, Rob. You're assuming that we're as wired into the real world as you are. We're not.
Rob goes to the store with his wife and starts naming off all these weird colors, and she's like, "You're right. We're all like red, blue, purple.
Mm-hmm.
That's magenta."
Just brown. I got like brown covers pretty much the entire russet spectrum, you know.
Well, I actually did that when I had to come up with the names of my chromatic crystals because, so that's why I have the crimson crystal, not the red crystal. I have the ochre crystal, not the orange crystal. I had the viridian crystal or the emerald crystal because it's not the green crystal. So, yeah, I spent some quality time with the thesaurus.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, I spent no time with the thesaurus trying to figure out the name for this cast.
There you go, Eric. There's the whole picture. There's the whole picture. So I know people have asked before to do the share screen thing there, man.
Oh, all right. Did you?
Yeah. I think I'm sharing. It says I'm sharing.
Oh, you are. Hold on.
There it is. That's the picture.
There you go.
That's the badass fucking picture that I got my thing, my little bubble thing for my face. That's just awesome. And that's from the Lost and the Damned. That's from the it's I don't what's the what?
Between his legs. It's like this weird.
Yeah, you don't know what's between a man's legs. You've been in the army. You're in
the
army, man.
Is that fur?
I think it's a tail. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not looking at the first thing. I'm not looking between a dude's legs. I'm looking how badass the scene is. He's swinging a sword. He's like a demon Cambion killing a devil thing. And Matt's looking at your junk.
I'm looking at it on the little screen, and I don't know.
By and large, his junk.
Oh, so he's a demon. Okay.
Yeah, look at that shit, man.
I think he's fighting the monkeys from Wizard. What is it?
Wizards of Oz.
Yeah, the Wizards of Oz.
Look at he got hoofs but spikes. That's pretty seriously badass, dude. You know?
What's down below? Is that like the alligator?
I don't know. It's like he's on the stairs or something. He's got this badass axe in his hand with blood on it, and the other one, you got him by the throat. That's just seriously badass. So I stole that from this book, basically. So anyway, there's the picture, in case y'all were wondering.
Folks, that's exactly why you all. Oh my God! Holy crap! We got bad Mike in the audience.
Oh.
See, Mike, we can't add you to the chat because that would make us like stack like I don't know 3 high, like a pyramid reversed. So
Tim Shorts may be joining us later too. We might see him. He's got a snowstorm down there. Yeah.
Wait. It's a snowstorm?
It's a big snowstorm there. We're getting it tomorrow. You getting that, Eric, down there? We're going to get a couple
We're getting
inches
like rain and maybe some snow, but they're not quite sure.
Yeah. I'm like, it's either rain or a couple inches. So, yeah.
But,
yeah, we're going to be getting about 6 inches of snow.
Are you really? No shit. You're about a half hour up from Tim? Something like that? How far away are you from Tim? About an hour, half hour, something like that?
No, I'm on the other side of town.
Oh, all right. For some reason, I thought you were like far away or something, man. I didn't know that. Well, then again, it's like a western town. It could be far, far away. You know?
We had this little problem with something called COVID and a town that not a whole lot of people got vaccinated and wore masks. So we thought it was prudent to, hang out in the virtual land with you guys.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. That makes sense.
Chalk that up as a life mistake.
So Kellyanne just informed me the forecast is up to 7 inches now.
7 inches. Damn.
Nice.
Of course, if you go a half hour, 15 minutes north to Edinburgh, they're on the snow line where the
lake effect and all that.
Where the precipitation comes off of Lake Erie and it hits a ridge of hills that Edinburgh sits on, and that's where it dumps all the snow. So 40 miles per hour winds.
So if the Russet Lord is the Lord of Autumn, what would the Lord of Winter be if you had to pick the color? Because it can't be the White Lord, right? So what would you call that? That's politically incorrect to say the White Lord. Yeah. So what would you call the Winter one, Rob? If you're going for funky names for like white and brown.
Well, I have a name for the Winter King, and it's the Earl King.
All right.
ERL King.
Yep. I got that dude in my game too. Yeah. I like that. I got it from the Dresden books, though. You guys ever read the Dresden books?
I started one like years ago when Rich and I first got married. I haven't gone back to it. It was good.
I actually got that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I can't focus anymore.
I was gonna read them, but then it got turned into a story game, so I stopped.
Yeah, it's a story game. I bought the books just for the lore of the setting, and it's interesting, but the game itself is stupid. But the books are good. You got to get through the first 2 books, and then you dive into the third. It's almost like he leveled up as a writer between book 2 and 3, or he got a better editor. I don't know what, but they get much, much better after that, Yeah. Jack Frost. That's a good name, too.
I have a Queen of Winter. It's the Queen of Air and Darkness. But I got both. Actually, I first defined them after I read Raymond Feist, The Fairy King.
You read that, the fairy tale?
Fairy tale, yeah.
You read that book, huh?
That's a great book. Yeah.
But Dresden reinforced the correctness of it. So
interesting. I never read that book, and I was a big Feist guy. I was a big Ray Feist guy.
Oh, that's a really good one.
It's set in the modern day, but the mythology is solid.
I think I got it. I had it. I don't know if I still have it, but I'll take a look and see. It was that good. I used to be on his listserv. You know that?
Yeah. Nice thing, it's a one and done book, so you don't have to worry about a series.
Yeah, I was waiting for more Thomas and Pug shit, and he comes out with this. I'm like, fuck you, no, give me a good book. That was the great shit. Matt, you were a fan of that, right?
Yeah. I loved his Rift War books. I never got into the when he brought the other author on, Jamie Wirtz, I want to say.
Yeah, the Daughter of the Empire shit.
Kind of like, what is it, like kind of Is it Asian, Indian?
You know what it was? It was his DM wholesale pretty much stole that shit right out of, was it Tecamel or Rose Petals or whatever the fuck back then that other guy put out? Petals of the whatever. What's it called? Give me a pedal name of an RPG.
No.
The Empire Throne.
This is what happened.
All right. Oh, Rob knows.
So Raymond Feist was part of a group that role played, and they had a handful of DMs who all DM'd in the world of Mechemia. Okay?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So they had this. Now I'm a little vague on this part, but basically, yes, they used Tecamel as part of our Rift campaign. But Feist, it was Tecamel in the same way I filter the Bob Bledsoe Waterland for my Majestic Waterland. I mean, the guy adapted Tecamel to his purposes to have this conflict between this Western European Mechemia and this exotic realm of Tecamel. And so when Raymond Feist wrote about it, that's why so many details are different, because it echoes Tecamel, but it's also kind of its own thing. So, you know, I mean, people criticize him for that, but I've read the Tecamel stuff, and it's like criticizing two people writing two different, using Western European as the basis for their mythology. Because there's going to be some common elements.
He did say that he didn't know that DM took that shit from Tecamel. Now, is Tecamel part of the Empire of the Petal Throne? Is that the same thing or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Tecamel is the name of the setting.
Okay. Yeah. So he said he didn't know until years later that that's where his DM was stealing shit from.
It's like Flanass in the World of Greyhawk. World of Greyhawk is what is published under. Flanass is actual name of the continent where everything is set.
Yep. What were you
I
saying,
didn't
Matt?
realize that there were RPG supplements.
Oh, dude, I got a couple of them. I have the one on
Rift War.
Yes, not for Rift Wars, for the game system. Before the Rift War books were out, the Mechemia Press Publishing put out a bunch of public. No, Mechemia Press was the geek who made up the set. Who was the most? The gist of how I get it. He was the DM of the most of the time, and he had this Mechemia Press publishing company. And they put out a couple of books. I think I got Jonquil, some City. I got in Kars, 2 City supplement books.
Yeah, I got Kars. But do you guys realize that the Mechemia stuff is set 1,000 years in the future of the novels?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when Raymond Feist, he like last year or 2 years ago, he closed out the Rift World novel, and that last novel was how the present day of the Mechemia campaign came about.
Wow.
Interesting. I was on his listserv and I met him because back in it was 97, 96, 97, 98. He was going really strong on a listserv, and I was in there talking a lot, asking a lot of questions, this and that. And he was really an active participant. He was an old school computer geek, back in the CompuServe days, this guy, right? And so he had a book signing in Pennsylvania once. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go. I took the day off from school. And here's my mistake is I said, I'm going to, a couple of these guys on a listserv, I know there's probably some along the way. I'll just pick them up along the way. You never want to pick up random dudes from a listserv in your car to go anywhere. I mean, there's
early internet.
Oh my God, dude. It was like one guy, he hadn't taken a shower in like a year and a half. It seemed like he forgot I was even coming. He had fingernails longer than a hooker. I mean, I what the fuck, this guy. And the other guy was such a geek nerd, and he spoke with a weird ass accent, even though he's from America. I'm like, dude, what's the matter? What the fuck are you talking about now? And I had to sit in a car for an hour and a half with these two lunatics. But we got to meet Ray Feist. And after the book signing, we told him we were coming, this and that. And he actually took about an hour of his time, bought us a couple sodas, sat at the table, and just talked with us about stuff, which was fucking cool as shit, dude. He didn't have to do that. He was just a cool dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the only fantasy novels that I actually enjoyed.
Get out of here, really?
I don't like. First of all, I hate. I think I talked about this before, but if you write a 400-page novel, guarantee you we can take 100, maybe 150, 200 pages out of that.
Greg, he's busted your balls, Greg. Here we go, Greg.
I happen to have Greg's latest role-playing game right here.
What'd you do?
This
Print
is a copy of it, so I'm making my character tomorrow, so I'm prepped for it, Greg.
Did you print that up on massive font or something?
Oh, did you hear that? I think I broke my gap. Oh, I scared the dog. Sorry, Maddie.
Oh God, ambition and avarice.
You don't have
second
to use
edition.
any of those spells, Matt. It's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. This is
oh,
that, I'm-
shit.
I'm-
Oh, you fucker, Shakespeare. Look at Matt posing like he's reading Shakespeare and shit. Come on.
Shakespeare's awesome. I haven't read from that in probably 4 or 5 years. Somebody gave it to me for Christmas.
So before I forget,
Yes.
you don't have to pay collector's prices for the Mechemia stuff. You can go to their website now and buy the PDFs.
Oh, really? No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they do print on demand or?
No,
Hmm.
not yet at least. But they still have a website. They're really friendly people to work with,
Yeah.
and also I recommend the app that they sell for their cities book, because their cities
I think
book
I got
has,
that too. I think I have that too. Yeah.
but their cities has an excellent set of random table chart, but
Mhm.
it's a lot of random table chart, and
Yeah.
it's deeply. There's like 7 levels or 6 levels to it, and the app makes it easy to use. So.
Yeah. That's cool.
Did you guys like the later parts of that series? Because there was
No.
No,
the only book I liked of all of them, because I honestly I wanted to like his stuff. So I just looked it up. It's Rise of the Merchant Prince.
Yes, that was good.
Follows
good.
like a thief that kind of raises up.
Mhm.
I thought that one was great, but the rest of them I couldn't.
I stopped.
stomach any of them.
After the first 4, you had Magician, Apprentice, and Master. You had which was actually one book when it first came out, I guess.
Yeah, the publisher split Magician.
Yeah,
into
they split them in
two.
2. And then you had Silverthorn and then Darkness of Sethanon, right? And they were my top books of my 10 years. For 10 years, they were the top books. And then he came out with this another series. And of that, The Merchant Prince, The Rise of the Merchant Prince was pretty good. And I just stopped reading after that series.
Yeah.
The Shadow Queen, all the other bullshit, I didn't give a fuck anymore. They were just terrible
And
things.
then there were 6. Holy
Uh-oh. This must be Tim who
Uh-oh.
said to me the other day, I'm gonna try to get my camera working. I see that worked out well, Tim.
Yeah, clearly.
It's got a slash through it. There's no camera.
The camera is dead. The camera
is
TPK'd.
He doesn't even have an icon.
No, I didn't. I don't even know how to set that up right there.
It
but,
definitely under settings.
sorry,
little-
Blake.
little sprocket
Did I
down
miss any live action role playing stories from Rob? I
No,
hope I
not
didn't
yet. We
miss
haven't.
any.
No.
We haven't tricked Rob into talking about some life yet.
Oh,
but we-
okay.
That comes in the
sorry, you
second
let the
hour.
cat out of the bag, so I'm not going to pull it. I'm not going to be a Sheldon for you. So.
Mhm. But Matt had just started busting in a roundabout way, which is pretty impressive based on the pain pills and booze Matt is on right now. He just started busting Greg's balls in a roundabout way about the length of thickness of books. You know,
I'll take
Oh
that.
yeah, I was doing that last night. I think.
Yeah.
Matt's always been envious of my thickness.
that's
Girth. All in the girth.
and we're all there already. But he's what are you drinking? Mick Light or something? What is that pussy drink you got going on there? All right, cider.
There it is.
Okay.
5 feet of
Yeah,
girth.
yeah,
Pussy
yeah.
Read them
drink.
in wheat, boys. 5
Cider
feet of
usually
girth.
has more alcoholic content by
I know.
volume than all that other shit. you
I
do.
know. Do you remember when cider was a big thing when it first came out in like the 90s? There was this, what the fuck was it called? Applejack. I think it was called Applejack cider. Holy shit. No,
Never had it.
Cider Jack. It was called Cider Jack. This shit was like 11% alcohol.
Oh,
it was insane. It was like that Zima's thing. Remember Zima was like 10-11% alcohol?
I drank Zima too because
Yeah.
I didn't know any better.
I drank Zima. Yeah, when I was in college. It was the
Yeah.
shit.
Hey. My brother just walked
Tequila
in.
and Zima. Whew.
Yeah. No, it's a shit show, man. It's a
No,
Zima.
I never had cider. I think I already told this story. I was in the Army and I went to Germany to do an inspection, and it happened to be in October. So we went to Oktoberfest in Lundstuhl, and everybody, we were all sampling all the different beers they had. And I'm not really, I'm going to hand over my guide card. I'm not a real beer drinker. I don't like IPAs.
I don't either.
Like,
My brother's
go suck
probably
on some
drinking one
weed
right
and
now.
shit. I mean,
Yeah.
wheat or whatever. But anyway, and somebody was like handing out samples of cider, and it happened to be Strongbow, and I drank it, and I was like, "Holy
Good
shit,
shit.
this is good!"
Strongbow's good.
I drank like 8 Strongbows, and they had to like carry me back to the hotel
yeah.
room.
Nice.
I got fucked up.
Yeah. Dude, Mackenzie Black Cherry Cider is so fucking good. So good. If you could get it
I've
out
had a
there.
black cherry, but I don't think I've had Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. If you get Mackenzie, I don't know. If you get that in no man's land where you live, dude, that's good shit. I'm telling you, man.
There's so many fucking. You know, one I really like is one called Gypsy. Their brewery's out in Eastern Tennessee, and they have one called Dreamcatcher that is so good.
Nice.
So
Nice.
good.
Nice.
Yeah, really
Public
good.
service announcement: if you add multiple types of alcohol with descriptions to your book, Matt Jackson will complain about the additional length.
Are there drinks in your book?
Yes.
There are. Here's the. Obviously,
I'm pulling it up right now.
You haven't gotten to the equipment section yet, obviously.
Shit, I haven't gotten past page like 6, dude.
You did have a good quote there. Do you want to read that quote? Oh, we lost Tim. Shit.
We lost Tim. That's
He's in the middle of nowhere.
Are you talking about the
Swept them
not
away.
dedication?
Yeah. Read
Joe?
the not. You want to read that? Do you want to read that not dedication, Greg? There he is. Tim, you back?
Yeah.
All
You
right.
want me
Yeah,
to
I
read
guess
it, or-
I guess my connection got bored with all your alcohol talk.
All right.
All right.
It's the chalk paint that got into the fucking gears.
Yeah.
That's what happened, man.
Could have been.
That's why he doesn't have a camera.
Yeah. Chalk
He
painted
liked
over
the
it.
color yellow today, so it went over the lens.
No, she chalk painted. We see his face, but she chalk painted that camera with the red line through it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be too wrong. Yeah.
I be like chalk paint, Tim's way.
Hold on, I might disconnect. I'm going to download the Ambition and Avarice
PDF?
rule book. Yeah, so
You might
I
break
don't
the
know if my
internet.
network can handle video casting and downloading this mammoth thing here.
Go ahead and grab the pronunciation guide while you're there.
Did I pronounce it wrong? Nobody knows what those words mean. What is it?
It's avarice.
Avarice. Oh, what did I say? Avarice?
Avarice.
Avarice.
Oh.
This is
Yeah,
a
you know,
British
name for an
pronunciation,
annoying
man.
Frenchman.
What kind of painkillers they give you, Matt, for that cast? What do you have?
I'm on.
I heard
I'm on
Avery.
Oculus.
I was like thinking, why are you talking about an ancient Hungarian tribe? You know,
Next
Yeah,
one we
I've
have
got Oxy right now in me, so I'm
Oxy
doing good.
plus the cider. You're doing good.
Yeah, and I finished one. I'll be right back. I gotta get
Yeah.
done.
100 XP to anybody who understands that reference.
I would just wait to see
Are
if
you
Matt showed
referring
his
to
Spidey
the
legs.
Avars?
There you go. Give
Oh.
Hey,
yourself
100 XP for me.
In Rob's game, that matters. He penalizes you and shit for cheating.
I learned history. I learned history the old-fashioned way by playing hours and hours of video games.
We actually had topics.
Well, wait a minute. Did you play Crusader Kings?
I played all 3 of them. I've played Rome Total War, where I learned about the Avars for the first time.
Oh, that's where you learned.
Yeah, there's
about the
tons of every video game set in some era. You learn all the different.
So there you go, another one.
You know.
All right.
Strongbow. So Eric, were you as amused as I was? Because this is an extension of our group chat, right? All us kids are all in a group chat. Were you as amused as I was around Tuesday when Rob and Matt started saying, "What are we going to talk about on Friday?" And I'm like, "Fuck, doesn't matter." We just start talking, and that shit comes out.
Well, here's the thing. We always start with, and Joe and I have done this before we added the miscreants to the group. We'd be like, all right, Joe's like, all right, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. And we mention X.
Half of X.
Start riffing off the comments in the live stream. And then next thing we know, it's like, dude, listen, we're over 2 hours. We got to end this soon.
Yeah. We never got into halfway through. We drove one line of an X, and then even got to the other line. Done. Kind of like Tim's picture there with the camera.
That's right.
Oh God, man. Jesus Christ. We did have a topic though. We were going to talk about skills, new school skills when how to do it versus old school skills and how to do it, right? Tim, you got a good system. When you want to describe what you do? Because I think a lot of people can adopt that. It's fucking simple. Even drunk, you can understand it.
What, skill system?
Yeah,
I don't really have a skill system. I have a skill role.
That's it, exactly.
Well, listen, if it's a role, it's a set.
Yeah, it's a role to figure something out,
right?
I mean, it's the best old school you're going to get out of a skill system because it's like it's an ability check essentially, depending on what's necessary and what's going on, right?
Right. Well, and the important thing about mine too is it's not always about success and failure. It's how much you may succeed
or fail.
A lot of times too.
More like
or fail.
You're gonna fail.
I don't really remember seeing that in gameplay. It's always you fail.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, it's I mean, I'm talking about people who come up with good ideas. It's usually determined with that. When I've got you two birds playing, it's just a matter of the other way. So yeah, so the basic premise is you roll a d20, you add your attribute bonus or penalty, as Joe's character is, and then your level. Because the way I like to play it is, if you're accumulating levels, that adds to your experience, so you're going to be getting better at stuff.
Yeah, it's like
and
a
that's how
proficiency.
I attribute it to it. And plus, in OSE, you don't get shit for raising levels anyway, so it's a little bit of a perk when you go up there. And it's simple. It's just a real simple thing. And I know once you start getting up in levels, the rolls get higher, but sometimes some of the stuff you start doing gets a little bit more difficult. But generally, I keep, difficulty levels around simple things around 10, and maybe more difficult things around 15, and then the real tough stuff around 20, depending on what's going on. But like I said, sometimes it's not a matter of whether you succeed or not. If you guys are looking for something, it's obvious. Like maybe you guys like when I can't remember if you played in this game, Rob, or not. The one convention when you got the 3.5 dumbasses who always want to use perception for every fucking thing. You go into a room and Dexter has just been in there, and they want you to roll perception to see the blood splatter, even though it's like decorated across the entire room. And that's pretty much what we came into.
Wait a minute. Was that you? Is that we as a player, or you were the referee?
No. It was I was playing in a game, and I thought, I can't remember, it was you and me or me and Chris. Couldn't remember there if it was, but because everybody failed, he couldn't describe the murder grisly scene in front of us. And it was sort of like, wait, and then he kind of described it to us, and I'm like, so we couldn't see that without a perception roll. So it's just kind of, that's the one thing I don't like about the skill sets. People rely on them a bit too much, and it's not their fault because it's there, and it's just a matter of them just trying to learn a different way to do it, but they probably haven't had that much experience with it, since if you grew up with 3 or 3.5, that's what you're gonna go with. But in my case, the way I do it is like, okay, you see Dexter's scene there and you got the blood all over the place, but what I'll do is roll perception stuff. Is maybe Rob comes in and his guy sees the wedding ring that's covered in blood that's on the floor, that's not as obvious, but it's not like he's gonna so much fail to see stuff. It's more like he's not going to see that fine detail maybe right away. So that's, so it's a little bit of philosophy along with just the simple skill roll too.
You're adding essentially by level. Excuse me. You're doing the same thing a 5e does with their proficiency bonus that you get. You start at 2 and at like 5th level.
Yeah.
3.
Mine's a little bit more, I guess,
easy to remember,
aggressive and simpler to remember. Yeah, because you get one every level instead of what do they get, like a +1 every 3 or 4 levels?
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean that's not too bad and everything, but I think most of us OSR guys can probably agree with is we're gonna not look to our character sheet to decide what we're gonna do, where a lot of times that's what like 3.5 and above kind of does. They kind of look to their character sheet to see what they can do.
Oh god, yeah.
I don't want to call it a crutch because that's the way they've learned.
That's true.
It's got to be on your sheet. That's kind of like playing like a computer RPG. It can't go outside of the parameters.
Right.
Which your regular GM in an old school game goes outside the parameters all the time.
Well, I'm going to say that's a referee. It's always a referee problem, because when Tim and I ran GURP, I don't say we are thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim. We didn't quite think about it the way we thought about it now, but in general, we really only had players roll when there was something at stake. If they had the skill and you had like a 13 skill, which is, professional in GURP, we would just say blood. You do whatever it is you're trying to do, because that's what that skill means. So if you had some kind of crafting skill, yeah, sure, you can make that. But if you were working with delicate materials or whatever, then yeah, you got to make a roll at that point. But My philosophy.
if there was nothing on the line, we wouldn't have like if you were gonna do something, if you're gonna search the room, you're gonna find like Rob's gonna search the room for that. Maybe he knows the wedding room is in there. I'm not gonna have him roll 3 times to see if he finds it.
Right.
You're just gonna say, okay, it takes a little while, but you eventually find the ring on the floor and the blood and that. So you don't have to. Otherwise, it just grinds the game to.
And some of that is the lack of another consequence. Like people give a lot of crap about keeping track about torches or time flow, but making attracted monster checks. But if you're spending 30 minutes searching a room, the things are going to be happening. You're wasting time. Like in real life, you wouldn't spend 30 minutes searching a 20 by 20 room unless you really thought there was something there.
Right.
I mean, most people are just going to glance around and then leave. To me, like the time you're putting in a bunch of time, there needs to be justification for that time investment, and it doesn't have to be, coming from the skill. It could come from your torch is going to run out if you take that time,
or a random encounter happens. I mean, you spend enough time in there jostling shit around, you're going to attract the Tarrasque. I mean, it's just how it goes.
Well, I'm going to pull out my live action card on this one. So,
here we go.
Everybody's
hold on, I need a drink.
13
Wait, I have a connection problem.
Searching the room is a skill like any. So you're right, Greg. People don't spend 30 minutes searching the room. But on the other hand, they don't need 30 minutes to search a room. If a group doesn't have any pressure, okay.
If you think your kid's smoking pot, you'll spend 30 minutes searching that room.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about.
That's a good point.
Okay. Yeah, if the circumstances warrant it, but generally, when it comes to a live action, I've seen groups toss a room in 10 minutes, and find all the shit in it, because there's you got 5 guys, experienced, adventurer who played for 5 years or more, and they just look in all the nooks and crannies, and they're over and done. And on the other hand, I see people who are there for the first time, and it's like you're sitting there and you're part of the staff trying to run the event, that portion of the event for them, and you're sitting there rolling your eyes because they are not getting done, and you really wish you had the staff to do a wandering monster check, because boy, they needed one to get their ass in gear.
Point you in the right direction.
But so my philosophy is that so what I adopted is if you're under pressure or there's a significant chance of failure, you roll a d20, 15 or better, you succeed. Now that doesn't sound good. That's only a 30% chance of success. But you get to add an attribute bonus, which can be as high as +3. And unlike Tim, I don't have a flat or D&D 5e. I don't have a flat bonus per level. Instead, you get ability points that you can put toward different abilities. It's not excessive, but so you'll often have a +3, +4 ability to say perception, stealth, locution, or legerdemain, which I call trying to pick a lock or remove a trap. And the reason I do it that way rather than D&D's 5e flat level, or Tim's flat bonus per level, as you increase, you get a bigger bonus, is because players, it's the right amount of, I view it as the right amount of customization, because players don't want to be cookie cutters of each other. They like to tweak their characters in one way. So like in one campaign, and you're familiar, Josh wanted to play a merchant. So he put a lot of a lot of his ability points into haggling and locution, and more so.
I could see Josh doing that. I've only played with him last year or so, but I could totally see him doing that. Yeah.
And so, but the key is not go the GURPS route, or even the basic fantasy, or not basic fantasy, but basic role playing route, where you have a zillion skills. Just keep your skill list a little bit reasonably short, and give a modest amount of bonus. And this echoes what Tim says, and you all heard this: don't roll a 1. So if you're not under pressure,
what Tim says, but not what Tim does.
It's no consequence to the failure. then you don't have to make a roll. I just tell you, like you see the blood splatter on the wall. If you take 10 minutes to search your room, you're going to find the running ring. But if you're doing something where, life is hell, things, Matt falls off a ladder kind of deal, then you have the time. Yeah. You get the roll. You still have to roll a T20, and you still have a 5%, i.e., a 1, where it just goes all wrong, and you're end up in the emergency room. So
let's see how many times we can work in Matt falling off a ladder story.
We already busted.
I know. I think this is my third consecutive session doing that.
To be fair, that's really a saving throw issue and not a skill issue.
I don't know.
I tried to make my dex check.
Later, bud.
I didn't make it.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah, we got my brother's here. He says the main problem. We've been having this argument for years. My brother says the main problem with the old schools of games is the cookie cutter syndrome. Yeah, he always says that to me, and I'm like, God, just make your character different based on what he does or what he says or how he talks.
Right? Yeah, I hear that too, and I see that, like, of course, when you're looking at the system like that, but that's just, the lack of, to me, of the player being able to take advantage of the system then. Because there's nothing to limit you from doing stuff. Now that could be to a GM problem too, because it could be that your GM doesn't, like, if you've got Joe as a GM and he doesn't let you do shit,
which is maybe why he's bitching about it.
Right? You can't do this, can't do that. But I think if you've,
it's because I house rules.
I think OSC is appropriate, like any old school stuff. It's open to.
Why does Joe have house rules? Joe, what's your?
Why do what? What was the question?
What is your reason for house rules?
To get to the other side.
No. What do you always say, Tim? Most of
my house rules in 5e are all to make it into more like first edition as much as I can without having a complete and full play to revolt.
I've heard the reason is to tell you what you cannot do.
Oh yeah, most of my house rules in 5th edition are cutting things off. I'm like hacking off dead limbs because I'm like, oh, that doesn't exist. Why not? And I finally came up with this catch-all reason. I was playing with Dwayne and my brother, and I held up the player's handbook and I said, this is why I'm trying to get the AD&D player's handbook into 5th edition somehow. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So you might hear a double echo. My brother just came into my room because he came over because he has his daughter has like a sleepover with a bunch of girls at the house, and they're taking over his man cave. So he escaped to my place, and he's in the living room. He's in the living room listening right now, and he just came running in the room to maybe say something and protest against that, but he realized his phone was still on, echoing the entire broadcast. So sorry about the double echo.
Yeah. So about the whole thing being, I got the comment earlier about rules being a crutch and stuff. I'm going to defend. Okay, so one of my views of the rules that is a terse form of communicating what your game is about. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, it's baking. For me, that means my rules, the Majestic Fantasy RPG, has a lot of how I view fantasy settings baked in. And when you read it, you get a sense of how I'm going to run my campaign. But also, I didn't need GURPS to make Johann Schmidt. I just needed Tim to be willing to play along with my ideas, and OSE was enough for me to make Johann as a cleric that was completely different than how most people play clerics. It was definitely his own thing, but for the average player who just comes there to enjoy an afternoon or an evening of playing D&D with buddies, then I find that they generally like a little more of it spelled out in the rules, that what you can and, well, I'm not saying can't do, but what you can do at least, that they like to have it in the mechanics because they can just read over the list and say, oh yeah, I want that, I want that, not because they're trying to make an uber character, because they're just making the character they want, and it's giving them ideas. And
he's in chat.
That's why I make a strong case for having a variety of equipment, because people, they don't think of all the solutions that they could have. But if you give them a crowbar and a pickaxe and a shovel and all kinds of different equipment, then eventually I could solve it with this solution that they didn't think of before. Because they don't have, like, if you just have character sheet that says I've got a sword and a shield and a chainmail on. That's all they think. That's all they think they have. And
I agree.
The more stuff you have is good.
That's part of the problem. I mean, I've said this before. I think it was on the blog side, or it might have been on this channel, when I was talking about once they introduced the Wilderness and Dungeoneer survival guides, and suddenly you had proficiencies in AD&D 1E. And with my group, that suddenly meant, oh shit, I don't have a skill in riding. I can't ride a horse. I don't have this, so I can't do X. And it wasn't like, well, if you have the skill, you can do it better. It became, if you don't have the skill, you can't do it at all. And it became very limiting. And I don't think that's the intent that was meant, but that's how it was interpreted by the gaming communities that I was part of at the time.
Oh, I totally believe that's the intent. Because they didn't want to hear our shit anymore. And so they say, no, this is how the game's played. Shut up and play it like how we spell it out in the rule book. I'm willing to wage a bet a quarter on that one.
All right.
All I have to do is read Tim Cass' introduction to gods, demigods, and heroes to get the. Then it, after I read all those books by John Peterson and all the blog, all the posts on people giving interviews, then I read that. Then one day I read that, and it all clicked for me. Wow, these guys were spammed and they were sick of it, and they just wanted to tell us to shut up with all the rules questions so they can get on with their job, and I guess. But yeah, so
I think I've said this example before, and if I embarrass my friend, I was playing Pits and Perils. I was running a game of Pits and Perils, which is a great.
Is that an index card game?
No,
it's a 2D6.
It's old. Is it Old House Rules? James Rules. Yeah. James George.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Robin.
3-page rule system.
The book is like 60 pages.
No, it's longer than that. Yeah.
Is it longer than that? Yeah, it's pretty big. There's actually 3 because they added to it later. But anyway, I've been telling him put it in a digest size, one single book. But anyway, see, you totally got me distracted. I was playing with a friend.
You're an oxy. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, I know. He started with 3.5. That was his introduction to role playing. So I was running the game, and it was him and I think 2 other guys that were pretty OSR type guys. And we had gotten into a part where we were underwater fighting some monster. And I got to him and I said, I'm not going to say his name. I said, hey, what's your character do? And he literally goes like this. I can't do anything. And I was like, you can do anything. And he's like, well, I don't have anything on my card that says anything about underwater. And I was like, it was like an epiphany for me. I was like, now I get it. He thinks that he can only do what is on his card rather than, and I always say it really goes to us old school guys, I think, would agree that player skill is as important as what is on your character sheet.
If not more important.
I think it's more important. But
this goes back to what my brother just said in those comments up there, which he's yelling into.
Well, he's wrong. If he said he's wrong already.
He's trying to, because he's like the old school guys say bust balls about you can't. It's not like as if it's mutually exclusive to have no player skill and only use a skill system or vice versa. I think there's a difference. I think maybe something to bridge the gap is that we all started without some kind of a detailed skill system, so we started doing random shit outside the box that worked. And then we inherited games in 5th edition, whatever, they have skill systems, or 3rd or Pathfinder or whatever. The newer people who never started without a skill system developed, or I should say maybe didn't develop the skills to think outside the box as a player. And so most of the time, if you're looking at newer players, they don't have the sort of a background to think outside the box, so they're going to rely upon a skill system. But if you got an older player like you guys or me and my brother playing 5th edition, we're thinking outside the box, and therefore the skill system is not as relevant or as important.
Yeah.
Public service announcement. If you write out a chapter explaining all this and put it in your book, Matt Jackson will tell you that your book is too long.
Is there a section in your book like that?
It's the first chapter.
Oh, see, I haven't read it. Honest to God, I flipped to the part for The Hobbit, just to read The Hobbit. I wanted to read the take on The Hobbit. And I was like, okay, I can play this.
There's a whole page on player skill. Yes.
Matt has a hairy foot fetish, boys and girls. In case you
I'm
haven't
sorry if you
noticed.
don't. You're not a fucking hobbit. You're a goddamn suck ass bitch gnome. Oops.
Gnomes rule.
I just
Gnomes rule.
monetize it. Sorry, guys.
Mhm.
Here's the problem.
Here's his hate speech.
Yeah, really bad.
All right, all you gnome lovers out there.
So here's the problem with an over-reliance on player skill. Now, people want to play characters that are not themselves all the time. So it's an easy get how I say easy give me to put a strength stat and say that this character is stronger. But what about the stutterer? A person in real life who stuttered, who couldn't, he means well, the good guy, but because of his speech impediment, can't talk his way out of anything. But
But
so
then
what
you
do
as a GM have to realize that the character and the player are not the same thing. I mean,
I wouldn't hold that against nobody.
Yeah, I mean, he says he's going to like swindle
like when
some babe.
Matt's players
Obviously,
try
the
to
guy
act
stuttering
smart,
isn't his
it's
character.
not the same.
I mean,
and I agree. And it takes the and what I told, and I had a stutterer, and when I ran games up to the local game store at Gold Star Anime, and I told him, look, I look for what is your plan. So take your time, say what you need to say, and yes, there'll be a role involved, but I'm not looking for you to make to be Shakespearean and give it
Matt has a Shakespeare book back there in case you want a Shakespearean. Man.
But just as long as what you say makes sense,
Nice.
I'll make it work. And he liked it, and he had fun with the game. And the same with the guy who is overly shy. I said, I know you don't like to get stuff out there, but just tell me what you want to do, and I'll make it work. But I don't think that is taught enough in the books. I think people go overboard on player skill on one hand, or we are playing a game. The game has rules. You follow the rules. You're not you're cheating, and you can only do what the rules allowed you. But I like to be in between those two extremes.
Well, see, I've always thought that we as a community added rules because of bad DMing. So a DM came in and said, Joe goes and searches for something, and I like Joe personally, so I let Joe find 1,000 gold pieces. And then Tim goes, and I'm like, man, I hate Tim. He's just a dick when he plays. He only finds 50. And so I think we added rules so that people could trust their GMs more because there were rules that we had to follow.
Protect yourself against dickhead GM. I agree. The more rules, especially in a convention, you go to a convention, have a good time. You paid hundreds of bucks, if not thousands, to go there. And you got some dickhead douchebag DM just for whatever reason killing your guy, going against all the rules, and it's like, this is stupid. Nobody's having a good time. Nobody's having fun. And so players demanded it because look, when we started, we were kids. We were stupid. I was a dick sometimes. My brother's probably in there thinking right now, but all the 20 trolls with longbows killed this character once, So just
I'm gonna disagree. Yes, there was a period of time where that was definitely true. Okay, however, I am going to say a pun here, but that was staked in the heart by the successful introduction of Vampire the Masquerade and all of its splat book, reinforced by all the splat books for D&D, AD&D second edition. After that, it's always players their eyes were blinded by all the options. They wanted options.
Oh, I agree. I think it started that way, but then the splat books came out. I mean, my gaming experience as a kid is a perfect example. Damn splat books came out. Well, first it was Unearthed Arcana. Everybody and their fucking twin brother wanted to play the damn Cavalier because it was so overpowering.
Oh, Barbarian, dude. Barbarian was the shit.
Wrong hand. Tim had the answer.
What was that? Kill all of them?
No. Use the weapon. What was it? Not weapon proficiency. Well, I guess I forgot.
I took advantage of the fighter options, and I ended up having a guy who could basically machine gun a bunch of daggers. And then it was one of those things where, you also got to use the alternate rolling up rolls too. And I ended up having some guy with like incredible stats. So when you have a guy with a 17 dexterity and then an 18 over 100 strength, which I actually rolled in front of everybody,
Jesus Christ.
and he's throwing daggers, and you get to throw 3 per round.
Darts were even better. Darts.
Yeah, I was just
taking. I think we worked the math, and it was even better than darts. It
was better than darts, because I remember darts being a thing. If you had a high strength fighter, throwing multi-attack of darts around was the greatest thing in the universe. You're like a machine gun.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember checking. I just remember the daggers being on there, and I just made up a guy. But I had to go back to Matt's point about, like, there was rules for that. There is no rule in the world that can stop a shitty GM. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
It just if you got a dickhead GM, it's just best to go find a different.
No, but I think that was the idea, was by having rules that players would know, then they could trust the GM by saying, yeah, but on page 32 it says I can do this. I think that was the intent. I don't know if that was
some level.
Hey, there's a good question in comments for Rob.
What's that?
Yep.
Oh, there it is, right there. You got it. You popped it up.
Yeah, I posted a link to the thumbnail of the map that's going to be part of it. It's actually going to be 4 maps.
The question actually is, for those listening, off topic, but I happen to be rereading Rob's excellent Blackmar supplement right now. Rob, are you planning on publishing a collection or omnibus of your fine hex scrolls?
Yep, hard at work at right now. A little slow, but making progress.
And guess he can do them all, because I made him keep all of his rights for his other stuff for points of light too.
Yep, I got to give credit for Tim for that.
Really? He's going to sell him the Goodman games, and I was like, don't you fucking dare.
Yeah, because I had a choice. So he came out and said, Rob, you can take 25%, or sorry, 25 cents per copy as royalty, or I'll pay you like $500. $500. It was a nice amount.
Yeah,
not exorbitant, but a nice amount for as a one-time event. But I get all the rights. And, no, I'm gonna take the 25 cents.
Yeah, it'd be a 5e setting right now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, I figured he was just gonna, because keep the rights, and then he could he could republish it later on and make more money off of it in his own dime type thing. So, because they were too good to just, being a writer anyways, to sign away all your rights just makes me cringe. So
yeah. I got a good thing coming. I got a link. I bought the Lankmar setting that they have out. Really, it's okay, but it's not as good, I think, as the second edition AD&D version of Lankmar, which is even better than the first, because it made use of the later books that came out. But it's okay. But
they had an AD&D 2e version of Lankmar?
Yeah, they did. It's a little longer, and it took advantage of the newer books that Fritz Leiber wrote. And so they incorporated some of that shit. So if you could find it, I mean, it's in PDF, obviously, and it might
I don't even know what I've got a bunch of the Lankmar stuff, but I don't know if it's first or second edition, actually.
I don't know. I guess Nigel Finley wrote this thing about the Thieves Guilds, and it was the greatest Thieves Guild book I've ever read in my life. It's one of the greatest all-around supplements I've ever had. Because it's the thing you go back to over and over again for ideas and inspiration and all that shit.
Oh wow, that's very good.
Yeah, Lankmar came out initially in first edition. It was a gray book, I think, grayish brownish, and then there was a second edition of Lankmar that came out, which incorporated more of Fritz Leiber's shit. It was everything the first one had plus some more. So if you're gonna go for one, go for the second edition version, But yeah, well, anyway, I ordered something from Goodman Games. They have these Lankmar modules that come out, which are kind of good city adventures, If nothing else, you steal the maps. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. They're pretty decent. So I ordered the newest one. I pre-ordered number 11, I think it is. And I must hit 2 by accident. So I got one coming. It's going to be extra. So if any of you guys want it, it's a long way to say. You guys
brother's in the other room waving his arms, probably.
Yeah. You use it to kill me. I have to read the one I got and make sure it's to kill me. There's a lot of that shit that's good. There was a Humble Bundle. Oh, that's why I need to get into that Humble Bundle thing, because they had the did you guys see the one they came out with recently for it was a Goodman's 5e? I think.
Yeah, I did. I got that one. Yep.
Did you get it? Because it looked pretty fucking good.
It is good. Yeah.
I might have maybe some of the 5e Goodman books end up on my computer somehow or another, but I think I want to buy the official, you know what I mean? Get them all, make sure I got everything, and it's good maps and everything else. They look really good, like a good fucking deal. Even if you don't play 5e, they're good shit, you know?
I don't, I don't play a lot of 5e, but that doesn't stop me from buying the books because there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
I like the Dungeon of the Mad Archmage. I like Salt Marsh. I like the Yawning Portal. Some of the dungeons in the Yawning Portal. I thought
that was useful. I've run a bunch of modules out of the Yawning Portal. They've been really good. They've been really good. Let me see. I'm going to try to find the Humble Bundle for this. The Yawning Portal was a good investment. I think that was one of the better 5e books because it was basically a rewrite of a bunch of books from all the various editions. Yeah, right. And they converted them to 5e. It was fantastic. I got the giants out of it, and you buy it on Roll20. You got all the maps for the places, and they come pre-populated with all the dynamic lighting. It's so worth it. Yeah. You could use it for anything. You know, you got the fire giant, everything is there. You can make use of it for any, because they were so generic, those modules back then, you know? What is this, man? What are you drawing there? Look at that.
That is the Sasquatch, which is a tavern.
Eric, can you highlight that?
Bring their zeppelins and park, and then they can camp out and shit.
I have no idea.
This is like
Gnomish Zeppelins, man?
Hold it up again, Matt.
Yeah, Gnomish Zeppelins, yes.
Look at that.
Gnomish Zeppelins.
Yeah.
Gnomes. Look at
that. Is that a side view, Matt? Is that a side view?
No, it's top. See, look here.
Oh, it's up higher. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so this is the like off a cliff. You see, it's got a little bridge there, so you can come out and dock your little thing, and then you can go in. You can go in and have a brewski, and if you're tired, you can have a room. Oops.
Definitely a gnomish location.
Yeah, you can camp out there, and
then there's a rule.
Man, Jackson's gnome hate speech is just losing any power now. He's like building taverns and Zeppelin docking stations.
He loves gnomes. Matt loves gnomes.
Yeah, he's like that preacher that's secretly hanging out in the bathroom.
In the boys' room?
He claims to hate gnomes, but in reality, he's hanging out with a lot of gnomes.
Dude, I had a gym teacher like that. He'd sit there in the shower, right at the door of the shower, so you could just see all the guys taking a shower. And he's got this clipboard. It looks like he's checking shit off, and it's like, motherfucker, you're a gym teacher. You got no paperwork. You can't fucking read. Why are you standing in the shower, asshole? You know? Remember that? I'm telling my brother. Remember that guy? He's in the other room. He just yelled back. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to be on perverts here. Matt, why are you bringing up perverts, man?
You brought up the shower thing.
Well, I didn't want to get you all worked up.
Yeah, that was all on you, Joe.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are making me wish Rob would start talking about
those.
Huh?
I'm really resisting because Bad Mike is talking.
No. There's a full argument. Let's.
I can't. I mean, it all says it's all going to boil down to he said, I said. I mean, I shot bow. Not a longbow. Yes, if you try to carry a man height weapon of any type into a dungeon that's not a pole arm, you're screwed. Okay, there's not enough room.
Well, you got a pole arm. The 10-foot pole myth is stupid. You probably couldn't even carry a 6-foot pole through a dungeon without going ding, ding, ding off the wall. All the monsters.
You can, but you can't.
But then you're poking your scout, your gnome scout, in the asshole in front of you.
Again with the gnome pornography,
in his butt again.
You know, he's back to the gnome porn.
Well, but there is a safety.
Gnomeporn.com, man.
Issue, but yes, you do want to carry it in a way that you're not poking your gnome scout in the ass.
I agree with you, Rob, on the crossbow longbow issue. In my game, the crossbow has a significant range advantage unless it's at outdoors, in which the bow gets a big bonus to range. So you can't.
Spawn is here.
You can't pull a longbow and shoot 500 feet in a 10-foot.
Oh
clearance.
No!
Yeah, it's insane.
And now we're back to ambition and avarice.
Avarice. And for short bows, even if you take it and try to shoot it in a corridor, you have to aim differently. And you have to if you want to be good at it, you have to practice it. And it's not the same thing you do when you're outside And that's not the same thing you do when you're part of a troop, like, and you're trying to do a cloud shoot. So I've done all three.
You mean that Gygax had it wrong when he had indoor and outdoor ranges being triple yards versus feet? You mean Gygax the god was wrong on that shit? that was
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
That was his fix for it.
You can't. It's a rough approximation, but it's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
But yes, you have to aim differently when you're shooting inside with the bow.
Now
you can't arc it.
Go back to Ambition Average. Greg is running a game for us. He's starting a campaign for us on what
Monday.
Monday. And it's his second edition game, and I have the beast of a book on my coffee table. It's kind of putting it off because of the weight of the book. And Matt ain't wrong on that shit. This thing, if I work in a shitty town, I can strap that to my chest, and no bullet will go through there. I'm protected against maybe a bazooka.
I don't know, man. Small calibers only.
Joe, let me ask you two questions.
Uh-huh.
Do you have another book with more equipment in it?
No, I gotta say, dude, I was impressed with your equipment list.
Do you have another book with more spells in it?
No. Yeah, it's well organized. Alphabetical spells, but then you got a table of spells by class. Perfect. Exactly what you want. Perfect way to do it, you know? Yeah. It's a good equipment list, I gotta say. Although I have books on equipment per se, you know, like all kinds of random ass shit that Tim turned me on to there. But yeah, it's a good thing. But what are you doing to prep for it, man?
Well, I'm working on a campaign setting myself with hex crawl and then a bunch of dungeons that are actually included in the hex crawl.
So you got 6 pages done today or something like that.
Yeah, I got a ton done this week. Because once you set the time when you're going to actually have a game, then your brain starts going, okay, I got to have this, I got to have this.
Yep.
So I had a ton of stuff prepped beforehand, but I'm finishing off a lot of things I've delayed. There's some parts of the thing, like, when you're writing any book, like you're writing the core rule book, it's easy to come up with the creative and the fun stuff, and then you got to sit down, you have to write a description of a spear. You're like, oh, God, I don't want to write that today. So there's good and boring stuff to do, but the purpose of the campaign setting is to demonstrate a lot of the things that I built into the game that I think aren't being done in other games. So
top 3,
like hex crawl movement I'm building it in, baking it into the way that the hex descriptions work. So for each hex description, there's a table of, instead of like the roll 1d6, and if you get a 1, you have an encounter. Yeah. There's a table of 6 outcomes, 5 of which are non-combat outcomes, and 1 of which is a combat outcome. So it's the same kind of roll, but it's providing you with all that information.
Yeah. You have the empty rooms equivalent, basically.
Yeah. And then there's an idea called dungeon familiarity, so that you can learn about a dungeon before you get there. So all over the map, like, you might talk to an NPC that's 7 hexes away from the dungeon, but he survived and got out. Like, so today, I wrote a character up that was NPC who had made it out of this dungeon where there's a bunch of fungal mold. And so he's dying in a temple of the fungal mold. And when you come into the temple, you could talk to him and find out information about the dungeon from that guy. So those things are all over the map, and as you explore, you're getting all these different leads everywhere, and that's kind of my solution to the whole Quantum Ogre problem of, the adventurers, whichever direction you pick, the GM will drop everything in that direction. Instead, you actually get to make an informed decision about where to go. So that's where my focus is right now in terms of developing this campaign setting, to kind of live up to those standards.
What do you put in place to allow people to make informed decision? I somehow missed that part.
Tons of information. So every location is packed full of information, rumors, some stuff's true, some stuff not true. You run into people who survived events, so then okay, if I go over there, I'm going to run into that thing. Yeah. You do have to pay attention, Matt. I know that's hard.
It's
men of a certain age, it becomes difficult. I understand.
A lot of stuff.
Everybody in the room except for you, I think, is older than me. That's pretty deep.
Well, that is true, but I am still not as old as you, so that makes you the old man.
Yeah.
What,
Scratch
hey,
it
old
by
man.
10 years, I think, right? Right? I think it's what, 8-9 year difference between
I
Greg
don't
and
think
Matt.
10.
I turned
Ben?
41 in 2 months.
I'm 56. Tim, what,
Yeah.
you're 53?
Somewhere around there. I don't
54.
remember. That's how bad it is.
51. I'm 52 in May. Yeah.
Well, I know you were younger than my Dodge Polara, so that puts you lower above.
That's scary. That is scary.
Oh God.
James wants to know how old you are, Matt.
I'm old. Don't worry about it.
He's not.
I'm not
quite,
as old as the other guys.
He's not quite 60 yet, but it's
looks
just right around the corner.
I'm really, I'm a mess right now. If you can see, I actually have hair because I can't freaking shave.
You got a little bit of hair,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got a little bit of hair.
dude. How do you
And
wipe your
my-
ass? What do you, I
my
mean, you're a
barber-
righty.
Oh, Doug.
I'm just wondering. I mean, that's got to be
My
a
barber
rough.
is out of town because it's spring break, so I can't go to my barber and get the old good, man grooming.
I was
going
going to say, wait a minute. That didn't answer Joe's question. Thank God.
on. I'm not entertaining Joe's questions.
Would be entertaining to try to watch you do it, though. Gotta say, motherfucker, on my hand again.
I got to go to my barber.
Greg, John Miller says your campaign sounds great. What is it called? Will it be published?
Oh yeah,
It
good
will
question,
be
dude.
published. It's about half written right now, but I have a terrible work ethic. However,
He's honest.
it will eventually be released under the name Terra Invictus.
Really? I like
Terra,
that.
like Terra Incognita, but
Oh,
What? It's not going to be French?
unconquerable. There's a French portion of the map. See, Tim is hates other cultures, so he doesn't want he wants everything to be named according to Anglo-Saxon naming conventions. Yes,
I would love to
there's a
just
French
have
portion of the
pronounceable
map.
names. That's all I
There's
ask
a
for. Yeah.
Hungarian country with
Hey,
different
I have
names.
lots of Hungarian stuff in
There's
mind.
a
names.
Portuguese type country.
Wait,
with
I got one
different names.
important question.
Yeah,
Is your
up?
Anglo-Saxon realm dominated by the Athos?
I don't even have an Anglo-Saxon portion of the map.
What?
You
I
just
can't
said,
believe
did I hear wrong? I thought you said he had an Anglo-Saxon portion.
No, I said Tim only thinks about Anglo-Saxon portion.
Oh, okay.
But I'm tired of visiting Scandinavia and England. I want to go other places.
dude, here's the thing.
Let's open up the world.
Terra Invictus Rusted. That's
No,
the name.
no.
That's the name right there, man.
Sounds like a bad third
Sounds like
party.
a bad adventure
5e
somewhere.
It's also starting to sound like a medical condition.
That's true. That's true. May cause anal leakage.
Rusted. And by the way, folks, for those watching and listening at home, this is Monday nights. A little bit looser than usual, but pretty much not much looser.
It's amazing.
This is a game. This is a game night. This is it, man.
All that we're not doing is rolling dice, which I will write. All right, I'm going to roll a dice. This is for Tim. Let's see if I get a 1.
Oh.
2, close. It was a close one, though, Tim. It's in your
I
wheelhouse.
don't have a D20 on my. I only have my Giant Lands dice on my.
Wait. Hey, Joe, did you do something that you thought was innocuous, but which caused a major change in the world?
I don't think so.
Yeah, 'cause
that's a lot of words after all
you
this booze, dude.
Did you discard an item and have it corrupt the land, or
I don't
any,
think so.
any other
That.
kind of
Yeah,
unforeseen
that.
calamity that might have occurred as a result of your
Yeah,
minor
if you take a piss in the well in Tim's world, you've just caused like Beelzebub to appear.
He's
Basically,
got
right in front of you.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You fucked with that well unnecessarily.
That was great.
The
That wasn't me.
druid
I
nearly
threw
killed
it
you for
away.
it.
I
was-
took a dagger and I threw it away.
It was my suggestion, and then Greg just followed up on it because I knew Greg was naive to Tim's world and the effects it would have. So I was like, "I'll throw it in the well." And Greg's like, "I'll throw it in the well." I'm like,
I don't
"Oh,
think
it's
you
on now."
realize how close your characters came to death in that moment.
One does not just throw cursed items into a well in the Comor Forest.
So speaking of dice rolling, I solved my
what
dice
we got?
problem.
What we got?
My wife got me this nifty computer desk, so I
Uh-huh.
can take this D100, which rolls forever, and it has
Nice,
Nice.
nice, very nice.
I highly recommend if it doesn't whack out your monitor placement, I highly recommend these computer desk.
Very
My
nice.
D100 would break that.
Yeah, I got one of them.
I believe it. You
Nice
have
one.
a cool.
I got my
D100.
world breaker.
Oh, he's got
Yeah, I
another
just
one
did-
now
Mhm.
too. He's got two.
I
of
got
his-
two. Yeah. Did you guys see my
The wooden one.
review
his
on
dice
because
board
the
on
dice
Facebook.
Dice Dungeons wanted me to do a review on it, and I said love it, needed one, even though I had another one. Just don't roll it on any surface your wife doesn't want marred. She will not be amused because it will leave a mark. Yeah.
And
You
I
know,
will have to mention this D100. My wife Kellyanne got me. It was a total surprise. So that was it's my
Very nice.
It's the first D100 dice I ever owned.
Very nice, man. Very nice. I got the one that
In other
sounds like it's
cultures, they call it a
stand.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
I got
So
one.
we thought
called
the D30 was bad.
R/1D100 enter.
That's the old.
That's no fun, Greg.
All
That's-
you news
that's
kids,
the
you roll
millennial
with
approach to
virtual
things.
dice. Blah.
He's a
You know.
youngin', man. What do you want? He's a youngin'.
Yeah.
Well, you remember he does strength, dex, con. We got to give
That's
him.
true. That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
Actually, I want to
Open
show you
wood
something.
thing,
I
man.
want to show you guys something else that my wife got me that's even a little bit more handy. So we all have these maps, and
we
sometimes
got?
they don't have grids.
Can you show
So
Rob
you-
more, Eric? Can you show him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, hold on a second. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me give you a solo
Uh-oh.
layout.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
okay.
What we got? here?
hold it up to the camera.
What the hell is that? It's
Looks
a
like
blood
an anal
pressure.
thermometer, Rob.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
that
blood
like
pressure
is that
monitor.
Like an anal thermometer? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So what it is it's a dial that.
Are you sure you're holding up the right thing?
Is there a brown
But
ring
laugh it
around
up,
it?
Buzzball, laugh it up.
Why is there a
Anal
brown
pressure?
ring around it?
Huh?
I said, why is there a
All right,
brown
I'm going
ring
to
around
terminate this.
I'm trying to be serious. And we're all like, giving him shit.
it?
Wait.
God.
Go back, Rob. So you set the grid or like
What
the
is that?
ratio, and then you
It's a
roll it,
distance
measure?
measure.
Yeah,
just like,
you roll it and it measures.
like you're measuring a football field or
I got
golf
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So then you
It's interesting.
measure it and read it off. So if you don't have a grid on a map, it gets to be very handy. Oh,
that's
and
kinda
the, one other thing, while I'm on useful aid, buy sewing weights. If you have those maps that
What?
hold on.
I'm just wondering why there's a plastic fork just sitting there all by itself without a knife, without a fork or a spoon. It's just got a knife there. You know?
I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. Let me-
That's actually a 1D2 dagger.
okay.
Joe.
So these sewing
Oh.
weights are excellent for holding down maps that curl.
What is
So I
that?
got four.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Beanbag, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bean bag, but you buy them at Joann's or a sewing place, and they're cloth and they're nice, and you just put them down, and
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
if you have some-
he hid the plastic knife. He took it away. Look at that. Look at that. He hid it because he knew I was
Is
talking.
that
about
like
it.
a pizza?
That's why I'm a good DM.
Around the way?
I sleight of hand here.
Everybody investigate Rob's desk.
Yeah, what's in there? Let's see what else you got in that hit that magic desk. Man.
It's pretty mundane. Nothing exciting.
It's definitely neater.
The closest thing I own is my hearing aid, and I don't think you guys want to stare at that.
What?
No,
What?
no, we don't. No, I've seen it. No,
Can you say that again?
What?
we don't want to
Greg.
see Rob's hearing aid.
Greg, are you ready to DM Matt? That's what I'm. That's what I think we're all
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah,
this.
I did. I just.
I've
wanna
played
take
with
it for the
children
record.
before.
I warned you.
I played an alien.
He
Killed
did.
everybody.
He
He
killed
killed
the
us all.
entire party at Alien.
Yeah,
I did.
He tried to kill everyone.
And the
I
great thing was,
saved
it was a
Earth.
good thing to do. He saved
I
everybody.
saved Earth. You bastards wanted to kill everybody on the planet. I was
That's
the
right.
only heroic person there.
That wasn't our intention.
But you would have done it.
Kind of was mine. Right?
That
You were
doesn't
an
mean it.
excellent.
It was
butch-
Joe.
butch
I
female
think that was my
Marine,
character's intention.
Yeah, I guess you didn't kill Rob's character because Rob's character is always the first one who dies in
Oh,
any
yeah,
campaign.
that
I
was-
killed.
he
I
was-
think I killed
He
Rob's
was
character.
killed by
Yeah,
Joe.
I know.
And then I
Joe sniped his ass.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
done. It's
Yeah.
like it's. He's like
Boom,
one
boom.
of you is an android. Boom! Not me. Not in the hide here.
Not the guy who shot first. No, that's not him.
Oh, God.
I submit my reaction was the only rational thing one could do in that
Yeah, and
situation.
so is mine to kill your ass dead.
yeah. I think mine was pretty rational. Self-sacrifice to save an entire planet. And this was when does Alien take place? Like 2022 something or other, there were probably
way in the future
140 billion people on the planet. And I saved
we
them
couldn't
all.
even get the thing started, so we weren't going anywhere anyhow.
Yeah, we
didn't know where the accelerator was on that damn ship, so we were just like,
we never did play the
flux
second module,
capacitor.
did we?
We didn't do what?
The second module for that.
No, we just
all
did one.
died.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we all croaked. Yeah, everyone died.
I think
It was
you
like
promised
a
to run us another alien scenario. But
the other one is all Space Marines instead of a freighter crew.
You know what I was thinking? Speaking of Space Marines, I bet you I read somewhere that John Peterson of Cthulhu fame wrote some of the maps for Doom. I had no idea. The Doom video game. I had no fucking idea. And so I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm thinking to myself, the Doom maps would be fantastic. D&D maps. I had the old Doom. Yeah, Doom. The old Doom 2. Remember those games?
I think so. Doom.
No, Doom with the M. Remember those games? The 94, where the fuck it was? Those maps
they gave
were
me
pretty good.
freaking motion sickness.
Oh, that was fun. I still love that game. I got it on Steam. I got Steam just for Doom 2. That's
yeah,
it.
the problem is always trying to extract the map layout of those games. Never.
But I bought the book. You can buy. There's like a Doom 2 map book because I bought the cheap books because I'm not gonna miss anything in that dungeon. I will get everything in every single level. Tim knows this, so I go with the book so I can make sure I get all the secret doors and shit. Those maps, I bet you would make really good D&D maps. You know, especially in a post-apocalyptic or space setting of a game, they're fantastic.
Why? They're just dungeon maps.
Exactly, but all the tech, the doors, the sliding doors, the keys, the computer system. You know what I mean?
I know it, but it's just a grid. You could do that on graph paper, Joe. It'd take 10 minutes.
But they're all there. I mean, I would love to drop that on somebody and say, "Did you know what room you just did? Level 13 of Doom 2." You know what I mean? That'd be kind of fun.
So Tim, we can send him our giant poster graph paper that we never used.
So
Joe, that's right,
Joe.
yeah.
Here's what the big boys do. We do that and then we publish it.
Oh, you steal it and publish it?
See, so
nice.
We don't like make a Blood Island, right, and then just abandon it, or write up
he's going low
rule setting, our own Bronze Age setting, and then just leave it in Word.
It's Word. I converted the PDF. I did save as PDF.
We put in ours. We shape it into this thing called a book.
I committed. I did save as PDF, man. You got the PDF. I did that so that Matt wouldn't cheat and edit the words, saying, "No, I can post 5 to hit." See, here's how I got it. So I'm gonna save this shit as PDF, so we can't fucking edit that shit. You know?
You can't let Matt hold you back from your dreams, buddy.
Oh God! Spawn said to use the Alien RPG and its stress system to run a Doom game without telling the PCs. It's Doom.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. That's what I'm saying.
The Alien system. It was pretty nice.
It was a good system, actually. It was even for our retard level, and Craig explaining it to us as we went, even though none of us read the brief introduction he gave us. You know,
I did. I read
you
it.
did, Rob. I should.
Well, that's why you were playing a character that was important.
Yeah.
Rob reads things I haven't even written.
Oh God!
I really like that.
Well, here's the good news: the Year Zero system had open content system reference documents, so people are interested.
The one that's in Vassin. What's the Forbidden Lands? I think.
Yeah, I have that one. Forbidden Lands.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat book. I like it. I really like Vassin. I backed every.
Forbidden Lands is good, but it's just the layout. It's like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's Midlands, the green land. That one?
No.
Forbidden Land.
Oh, Forbidden Lands. Okay.
From the Free League.
I still can't bring myself to buy the Midlands stuff. I don't know why. You guys say you liked it. I saw the book.
Oh, Midlands is awesome.
I just can't. Yeah. I know I would never use it for anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could. There's nothing to steal from it. So I'm like, why would I drop $300 on the whole set of the collection?
If you don't steal anything from a Glen Seal product, then you're not a good GM.
Yeah, you steal. It's got lots of weird little quirky.
Oh yeah,
but that's not my
the
style.
NPCs and everything. Yeah, that's true, Joe.
It
does have a certain style.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of a nicer setting of Tim's. You know what I'm saying? It's a Comor Forest PG-13. You know, that's kind of where I look at it.
It's got a lot of weirdness to it. It's definitely
Tim has weirdness plus you die.
No,
you know what I mean? It's like that.
I mean, his hill giants were just hill giants, right? There was nothing fancy about them this week. They're just hill giants.
We'll pay, man.
It wasn't like they had like a protruding arm that came out and smacked you like a bitch or something every
Yeah, see, I think
2
Joe's
minutes
been
to get
playing
extra
with too
damage.
many GMs that just pull punches, and Tim doesn't pull punches. He rolls a 20, you die.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
That's
I
all
know.
it is.
I still can't believe we beat that Froghemoth the other night, man. That was fucking
I,
badass.
he's,
It's
what do
a
you think, Jim? Is that
froghemoth,
amiibo?
not a
Froghemoth.
frogamoth.
Is it a Froghemoth?
Froghemoth.
How do you know?
Froghemoth, like behemoth.
I'm looking that up
Froghemoth.
in the Webster's dictionary. If it doesn't say it like that in Webster's, then I don't believe you.
Well,
It sounds like this amiibo thing because in my Russet Lord adventures, the first time you went up against the Russet Lord, I TPK'd you guys.
well, wait. I got to come to Joe's defense here. A minute ago, we were just bashing Joe about publishing game systems. And here we have a guy that has literally published enough shit to probably release 6 books,
Tim,
but he hasn't done it yet.
thank you.
I have
you.
published pretty much
Every month.
everything I've written. Thank you, Jackson.
But you haven't put it
Tim
together, dude.
Consolidated it into one thing.
You could kick
have
the Midderland's ass if you put it together.
Welcome to Comore Forest.
Yes,
bitch.
exactly. and every page will be,
I think
and the
Eric
character
has
dies.
almost everything I have in there.
Dude, all you gotta do is
probably
have the-
not
Why don't
in
you
one
just
place.
consolidate?
No, it's in multiple places. I have it all.
But you
Since
gotta
I
just
want my
connect-
It'll
character
take me
to
weeks.
I have it
survive
all, too.
Tuesday
It's in my
night, I
dresser,
am going
it's
to
on
say
my
Tim is doing a
desk.
fine job as is.
But no, yeah, because you don't want to die next game. Here's the thing: there's Tim has all the elements there, and all he needs to do is put out the connective tissue. You know what I'm saying? That's it. All the connective tissue between the things, and it's done.
Dude, I know Tim for decades. Don't push him on this. He'll do what he does when he does it.
I know that, but I'm pushing
Okay.
anyways. I want it out there. I will edit it for free. I will help you bleed the connective tissue. It
Look,
will
I
hit
tried
the
to push
Midderland's
him on
ass.
Eastgate. He had this city Eastgate that he ran briefly.
Really?
That was neat. It inspired me to incorporate it into my own Black Mart stuff. But he'll write what he write when he
I know.
likes it.
Remember
and be
what
happy.
happened this summer? I had an entire city campaign for just 3 months.
Yeah,
I
me.
developed this entire city and then I burned it down.
You burned it
Turn
down.
it down. You
Yeah.
And I nearly died in it on the way out, motherfucker.
Well, so I mean, it's sort of like, I may write something up, but it's not gonna, it doesn't last. Nothing's sacred.
That's pretty much how you treat the PCs.
Yeah. Well, I treat my campaign the same
Yep.
way. And if you're in
Yep.
it, you're there where the fires are burning. Yeah. Well,
That's how it goes. That's how
yeah.
it goes.
Barbecue PC. Yeah.
Tim is
Louisiana
more
style.
into the artisan aspect
The
of the
artisan.
RPG. He's not a mass producer. He carefully cultivates each
Microbrewery.
individual experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Microbrewery.
we're just big commercial interests with no heart. But Tim,
Right.
man, he's really killing it.
I'm all heart.
We're the soulless
Definitely.
corporate.
Please.
Every Tuesday night, you're all hard.
Please don't kill me on Tuesday.
I mean, I'll admit, I get jealous of guys who are able to, just, I want to say crank out materials, but, like Dyson logos. He always has something every week to offer. And then he compiles it and offers. And here I'm like a year, 2 years in between my release. But about 5 years ago, you know what? I came to peace with that. I will, just like what I just said about Tim, I will release what I release when I'm ready to release it.
And everything I pretty much crank out is for free for the most part.
Yeah.
Too, on top of it.
Yeah. You have the Patreon. What are you up to now in the Patreon? You have a couple hundred, right, Tim? Something like that?
For what?
The members. I think the members.
No,
wasn't it?
I've never topped 100.
Oh, I thought you were a couple hundred level. Okay.
No. I've never. It's funny. I kind of stay in the 80s range. It's like because my patronage is like a heartbeat. Boop 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 boop, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, and then it drops down pretty far, and then I'll get a big bump, and then that's the way it always has been. Yeah, I've never been one of those guys. I know this sounds bad, but it does irk me sometimes when I see these fuckers sitting in their living room in their socks talking about video games, and they make 20 grand a month doing that.
Dude. Yeah,
and they're like 12 or 18 or something like
yeah.
that. And it's like they're making 20 grand a month talking about.
I know.
Didn't some chick
what am
make
I doing
50
wrong?
grand selling her farts or something?
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
That
yes.
chick was from the town next to the town I grew up in. That fart cellar. Yeah. What is that? What is that, man?
Is that a beer opener?
An Army Man
Little
beer
Army
opener,
dude.
dude?
Oh,
I
that's
love that Army Man.
fantastic.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
my kid got it for me.
I used to love the Army Man, that crawler guy. That's
Yeah.
nice.
They had those at the Normandy Museum when I was there. When I was
really?
in France.
And
Yeah.
you didn't get us any, you fucker.
There was a lot of stuff there. I didn't think I could get back through airport security.
Dude,
Great.
just like in Pulp Fiction, you hide that uncomfortable hunk of metal right up your ass for the entire flight, and you get back here with it. And we have a lot of beer openers, or a little chocolate covered beer openers right now. Damn it.
No.
10 hours in the plane's hard enough without something hard and metal at my ass. It's not going to be something I seek out.
Hey, John asked about the Dolmenwood Omnibus. No, it is not. You got to get on his Patreon, and he releases.
Well, he's going to do a
updates.
Kickstarter here soon.
Yeah, someday he's going to do a Kickstarter, but he's
Yeah.
got
What's it
over
about?
100 of the 200 hexes spelled out.
Dolmenwood's his campaign world.
Who is
Yeah.
this guy? Who are we talking about?
Gavin it's the
Norman.
OSE dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought it was kind of way too fairy, and I was like, I don't want to play anything like that.
Say
It is.
fairy?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of Fey.
Yeah, but I've
things
been
to a lot
watching
of
Any potato fay?
No
Russet Fay.
No,
I
I've
do
been
believe there
watching-
was a Yukon Fey, but they wrote that one out.
No, I've been
You
watching
have
a YouTube
contaminated the term.
It's
You're going to have to have a new title.
Now, Rob, you do realize that next time you run a game with this group, I've not been the big asshole. Others have been the big asshole.
He's already leveraging for an extra level.
Yeah, I've been the minor asshole. So just
Apparently, Eric's the measure of assholes tonight, I guess.
somebody has to.
The metric by which all things shall be measured.
Well, to be fair, Eric, you were the most into role playing your characters, so I thought you did great.
Thank you.
But he died.
And I was sober.
How
before.
great did he die?
I mean, you were so focused on it, you ignored several important abilities of your character, like
But not
monsters.
several sword blows.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
the fuck
well,
took him out?
Because it was more like just it's like screw the potential. I know what I have and what I wanted to be. So yeah, I know I didn't do
The
the
Wrestle
turning.
Lord had it coming. He did.
He did. He was a
I
dick.
died too quickly for the turning, so I didn't have. There wasn't any big battle for me to need the turning. We had too much fun role playing anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
Rob, Matt, what were you saying about Dolmenwood? I know we got distracted by
I've
potatoes.
been watching I don't like actual plays. I find them exceedingly boring, and it's usually because there's one asshole that plays a character and they use some. I almost said a bad word.
You almost did. I saw that.
Yeah, they use a terrible accent, and they use it all the time, like their character act is so terrible. Anyway, they used
What,
to be
you
called,
mean you don't like funny voices coming out of characters?
No, it's
mouths?
okay, but if you watch most actual plays, the person who uses that voice, they say 4 times the normal stuff that any other character says, and it's because they want to be on camera saying they're acting or something.
Listen to me.
It's
Look
going
at
on. Anyway, I've been watching.
me.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be called Britannica, but I think it's called 3D6 down the line now. But it's a Dolmenwood actual play using OSE, and it is.
What's this called? Is this a YouTube show or a
Yeah, I'll get the. I've got
Twitch?
it. No, it's on YouTube.
I wouldn't mind watching that.
It's really good, and I think they're up to Hold on, I don't know how to find.
You know who's got the most goddamn games on YouTube? The Dungeon Muser guy. First of all, that motherfucker sounds just like Tony Stark's Iron Man. Exactly like fucking Tony Stark's Iron Man. I thought it was almost a caricature, but no, that's his actual voice. But he runs multiple games all week long, multiple days on multiple systems. I'm like, how does this guy still have the brain capacity to handle that shit? But he'll run Ash. He'll run second
played
edition.
2 of his games.
Did you really?
Yeah, I haven't. I know somebody that plays.
Oh,
I dropped
okay.
the link in the chat, Eric. There you go. Well,
Okay.
the second one,
The,
the Britannica one. It's actually really good. The only negative thing is I think he uses a Dyson map for his banner. I got to talk to him about that.
It's called 3D6 down the line, but now with
So it must be good because Matt hates everything.
Yeah.
But no, it's really good.
Matt,
And it's
Matt,
entertaining.
Dyson maps come with a free dose of morality in every pack.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, but it's really good. It's entertaining,
Apparently,
and
some
it
kind of a douche,
gives
I
you
don't know.
just enough of the Dolmenwood setting
Mhm.
that it's it's also a hex crawl. So they're also hex crawling,
Oh, right,
and he uses the mechanics that are from the
Oh, wait.
Patreon.
I see the hook. Hexcrawl was one of our original topics we were going to start talking about at 8 o'clock. There, Matt's bringing it back home again.
There you go. It's what I do. It's what I do.
90 minutes later. There you go.
We're on our first topic of the evening.
No, we touched on skills.
We did. We did do good on skills. Yeah.
So what was the next one again? Hex what?
Hex crawls. We were going to do.
Matt's calling Dyson now.
Oh, he's calling Dyson.
No. When you mean,
I'm sorry, I stole your map, Dyson, and put my name on it. That's what he's saying right now. It wasn't me. I didn't know. I didn't know I was doing it.
Dyson, listen, I'm the one that called you a map monkey. Matt Jackson. It wasn't Tenkar. All right, yeah. And bite me. Sincerely, Matt.
God.
I'm getting lightheaded.
Me too, but I'm smoking some. Rob is like, what the fuck did I get into right now? Look at that face.
If we do, if we're going to talk about hex crawl, why don't we go back to Greg, since he's going to be running a hex crawl thing.
Tell us what you're doing, Greg. So we
tell us how you're going to be
and have some advantage.
My
how are you
system
run
has a skill called direction. All the skills that I have are based on very specific tasks in my game. So the direction skill is really only for hex crawling. You say, I want to move into this next hex. That's easy. You don't need a roll. You roll for an encounter in that hex. That's just you passing through the hex. If you want to leave the hex, you have to make a direction roll. If you fail it, you're off by one face. So you tried to go out this face of the hex, but you instead were off.
So do we roll are we rolling this as a group, or is it
whoever
just
one person? In my game, you select somebody to be a vanguard. They're the person leading the group. Okay. So if you pick the veteran class, they get combat bonuses when you run into stuff. If you pick an elf, they're better at navigating through the woods or whatever, right? Yeah. So there's different things to keep in mind when you do that. But that person is your shot caller and your reaction roller and your direction test person. Yeah. So you want to pick somebody who you want to actually follow. Now, they don't have to be at the front of the marching order, just to clarify that, but they're the one who's making the decision. So you're following that person. So if they're off by one hex, I'm not going to tell you you're off by one hex. I'm just going to start describing the new hex to you. You think you're here, but you're actually there. So eventually you'll have to figure out that you're in the wrong location.
So how big are your hexes?
It's 12 miles from the center to the center of a face. So it's a 24-mile diameter, and then I think it's 14 miles on each face. I did the math, whatever.
You're very smart. You negated the horizon rule with that large of a hex. Good job.
Yeah. So you're going through the hex. If you stop in the hex and start camping or spending a long time in the hex, then you have to keep making the rolls on that encounter table until you're more likely you're going to run into the combat element. Or into whatever, if there's a keep or something in the hex, you'll run into it much faster by sticking there. It's possible you might walk through the whole hex and not see the keep unless it's on a prominent hilltop or whatever. So there's things to consider like that. So you have to really figure out whether you're really exploring this hex or you're just moving through, and then you're making that direction test to keep going in the right direction. I think the reason why a lot of people struggle with hex crawls is they're not giving out enough information to the players. So the players are just randomly moving through this terrain. They don't really have an objective. But in this situation, for instance, I gave one of the characters a clue that there's a mountain nearby with a dwarven city that's underneath it that's been abandoned and could be looted as a potential dungeon location. So if your guys are going, we're going to head for that mountain, then now you're kind of making a 3 hex movement where we're trying to make rolls, move through the hex. You might not encounter most of the things that are in the hexes that you're moving through. So when you come back through later, you could run into something that you didn't realize was there.
Oh, yeah. With the hexes that massive. Yeah, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of.
How big is your
unseen
hex?
things.
Did you say 24 miles?
24 miles from one face to the opposite face.
Wow. Holy shit.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure if we can
that's
call
real.
you old school. That's
Wow.
That's a big fucking hex.
It is.
I don't know. It's the known world old school, in your opinion, Matt?
Oh,
I'm
listen
just
to
saying,
this.
the old school standard
Ooh,
is
he's throwing
wow,
down
heck.
geography.
Yeah, look at that. He had the alpha move with his hands behind his head like that too, going there when
Yeah,
he's
he
throwing
did.
it down.
Look,
See that?
back.
You see that?
The reason why
Yeah.
is because the known world, as one of its scales, had 24-mile hectares.
But I believe someone wrote a blog post once about the howling emptiness of a 12-mile hex or something like that, Mr.
30-mile
Conley.
hex. Yes, that was.
Ooh.
That's the person who's never tried to walk through the real world. Because
Oh,
if you,
don't get me started
no,
on
no,
that.
no,
Oh, I was
no,
going
no,
to
no,
say, don't get
no,
Don't
me
get
started
me
on
started
that.
on the hexes.
That's not the
Yeah.
point of the post. The point was I was in junior high and I was, get the world of
Narrowly
Greyhawk
missed a
map.
LARP story. Just missed it. Phew.
There it was.
yeah,
Larson.
I
And I had to go
stunned
No
him.
LARP. What's the LARP in any of this?
man, everybody's taking some heat tonight.
Okay, anyway, so you
I'm
have the
pretty
world of
lucky.
Greyhawk
I'm
map. You have the Great Gazetter book, but it's all high-level stuff. They don't tell you what it looks like down, what you see when you're adventuring. You have to make all that shit up, which is
Right.
fine if you're like 30 years older in college and you may know shit about the world. But if you're 14 years old or 15, and then here's the Waterlands, with its hex grid, numbered hex grid, and says, here, there are 30 direwolves in hex 1230. And in hex 1410, there's a troll. Now, that's something to work off of, and so I gravitated to using the Waterland. It was just easier for me to use. But
I just like
could do
having
Greyhawk
more
now.
non-combat encounters. Like, you go through a hex. You don't have. It's not the world's not 100% hostile. You might be walking through
Right.
Greg,
a hex
read
and
one
you
hex.
run into a.
Pick a random
Run-
hex, Greg. Read it. That gives us an idea what you're talking about. Like, find a random ass hex that we probably won't go to. Give us the D6. What might we encounter?
Give me a second.
I stumped him. See that shit?
I have to open up
You
the end.
stumped him, he's
It
looking.
takes a second to open up the InDesign file. That's all.
He wrote the book. He had the
Plus,
shit
it's,
memorized. Just saying.
374
It's a very heavy
pages
book.
for two
He's gotta-
hexes.
He's got to get the Zach to lift it over onto his desk.
Right.
Pallet
Help him
jacket.
open it.
All right, so there's a hex. There's a hex that's a little bit away from where you start, but it's in the direction you're
Oh, don't give us
probably not
spoilers
going to
now.
go. But it has the main feature of the hex is a stone circle. Okay, so you walk into the hex. These are the 6 options. I picked this for Matt here. If you roll, there's no combat encounter here necessarily. Okay, so all of these are potentially non-combat encounters. The first one is a nude gnome on a vision quest.
Nice.
The
From
second
that.
one is a flock of 1,000 crows that's following your party for a while. The third is an elf hunter hunting a brown bear. The fourth is a covered carriage destined for a nearby town. The fifth one is a family of aggressive wild boars. If you spot them from far enough away, you don't have to encounter that. 6 is a nobleman being murdered by his guide. So you could roll any of those. I also have in the description here the weather the first time you enter the hex, and then the GM just has to make up weather if you keep coming back to the same hex. But when you enter this hex, it's calm with a dry wind. There's a short description. This hilly area is crisscrossed with numerous dirt paths that have been worn by travelers trying to find their own way through. And then there's I have a little question mark icon for all these things have little icons for them. So I have a question mark icon for hidden items. So I said hidden within the hills is a clearing with a huge cairnstone circle. In the center of the circle is a large stone bearing an eagle. The entire place feels magical, but gives off no magical effect to any kind of spell if you're trying to detect magic or anything like that. When leaving this hex, anyone in the party who touched the large stone in the center will have to choose a hex at random. You choose a hex at random within a 10 hex radius, and then they end up navigating into that hex and not realizing how they even got there. And then you won't know how to get back because there's no way back.
So will we definitely encountered one of those one of those 6 encounters if we enter
You'll
the hex?
definitely encounter one of the 6 encounters by moving through the hex. If you spend time searching the hex, you'll find that cairnstone circle. And I also have in my game, you have water foraging and food foraging dice, which I put on here. So if you go foraging for water, you roll a d8. If you go foraging for food, you roll a d10. And you get that many rations or that many drinks of water.
I think you blew it, Greg, because Eric, if you could show this, when you said you would see a big flock of, I think you said crows, 1,000 crows or something like that, Eric, that's what you should have had there. Right there. Just saying.
Oh, nice.
That's what you should have had.
I don't know.
Flock of seagulls, baby.
Nice.
And Iran, huh?
This is not a coastal hex, Joe, but I'll keep that in mind.
Flock of seagulls, man.
Well, I have 2 comments. You said you wanted to get away from medieval Europe, and then you have a cairnstone or a circle of stones. Isn't that like, I don't know, one of the most famous Anglo-Saxon tropes in the world?
Europe and Anglo-Saxon is not the same thing.
I gotcha, but they're okay. Celtic.
Yeah, this one hex. It's
No, I'm just
it's
saying.
in the French portion of the map.
Oh, the French.
In the French portion.
Are
It's a
you
French
against-
Karen.
Are you
It's a
against
Karen.
diversity of
I
Karen?
Make
got
your own.
French Karens,
You
damn it.
realize, Matt, that making stone circles.
I know it's all prehistory. I know. I'm just saying,
But it's
a very
worldwide.
common European trope that shows up in all of.
You don't have to
I'm
get
just-
your facts
I'm just
straight
giving
when
them a
you're
hard
giving someone
time.
shit. It's just
I'm
you
just
know,
giving them a
let
hard time.
Yeah.
Actually,
but-
while we're talking about hexes, one of the coolest hex related things that I've ever seen is a book called Times That Fry Men's Souls. It's dear to my heart because I love the Revolutionary era, but he does a very cool thing in it. It's not a small area, but it's a smaller than a world hex, like a regional hex map. But he actually has stories that you can pick up different like subplots inside the hex, and then say you're going to run into a tribe of Iroquois soldiers that are on a spirit or dream quest or something. And if you go through the hex map as you explore it, you can actually find interconnected stories. So you might find those Iroquois troops or
cool.
tribesmen or whatever halfway through the story, and then later on you might come across them later on, but it's an interconnected story, and there's like 6 or 8 of them. So you can have all these little subplots going on that you can interact with at different times. Really cool, really great book if you're into history and stuff. But the whole mechanic of how he handles a hex crawl is very cool. It's kind of a supernatural.
That's a very well packed hex, but I mean, I picked a hex that wouldn't tie into any of the story stuff. So,
we're definitely going to find that gnome though.
Yeah. Vision Quest. Yeah, he found Matt's character. Guess what, pal? Vision's over, pal. Yeah. No, but I think what Greg brings up too is pretty important. I think it's important because I like anytime I'm doing hex stuff, believe it or not, Joe, not everything's a hostile encounter. You guys,
yeah,
you know,
right.
Sometimes they're helpful. Just because they're non-hostile doesn't mean they're not nice. Sometimes
there is nothing nice in Comor.
Nothing. Not
everybody
a goddamn
that's played
thing.
in Comor Forest. Have you ever encountered somebody that was more on the beneficial side of neutral in Comor Forest? Anybody?
Never beneficial without a what's in it for them.
Yeah, exactly. There's always some sort of, even the guy in town, which I can't remember their damn names.
I have is Johan.
Johan is
I got it. It wasn't often, but it happened.
Can't count your character.
No. Okay, to be clear, this was when I was playing Johan.
Before it became an NPC.
I encountered beneficial character. Now,
when was this?
Your guys' defense, it wasn't very often, but it did happen.
So the 1 out of 6,000 NPCs.
And it mostly happened after we won this temple and we were trying to get it established. So we were building a network of allies throughout the region.
I'm sure that Tim was just laying a trap that you bypassed somehow.
Yeah, somehow
that's all it was. There was no beneficial shit there. Come now. Tim's not
Did he
saying
give you anything
otherwise.
for free or good? Did he heal you without asking for anything?
Well, I don't know. He struck me blind, but gave me magical
He
sight.
struck me
The
blind.
ability to see
You're like an
evil,
abused wife,
the
Rob.
ability
He
to
hit
see
me every
invisible
night, but he
creatures,
still
the
loves him.
ability to see secret door. But I was blind, so go
Yeah.
figure.
He
So
blinded
he
you,
made
and
you-
you went. You took the man back to your bed, Rob. This is what I'm
That just
saying.
shows you right there. Rob thinks that the guy who made him blind is beneficial.
Exactly.
The basic
Exactly.
level of Comor Forest. Yeah.
No, I was being sarcastic.
That's as good as it
but
gets.
I'll eat the ribbon. So
I
as
can't even
far as,
say anything.
okay, in order to deflect this, I'm going to share my screen here.
Oh God! Are we
So-
going
All
LARP
right, let's
again? Are
just
we
say
going?
it's a good idea to do it that way.
Are we
Yeah,
going
to
full
have
LARP,
another-
Rob? Full LARP?
No, we're not going
All right,
full
all right.
art.
Thought you were going full art there.
All right,
Never go full
quite
art.
show it
Never
yet,
go
Eric.
full art.
I mean, so
Never
I
go full
really
art.
like the journey system from Ventures Middle Earth. I have one I went up there, Eric, if you want to show it.
Yep.
Okay, so normally
Uh-oh.
you get a hex map with Adventures in Middle Earth, and
I think it
you
turned
can
off that
trace
phone.
out a journey. But what really makes your system cool is you don't make periodic rolls. Instead,
What we got?
Ooh.
My eyes aren't that good, dude. Words.
Yeah, Herb.
Whoa.
Words.
let me zoom in on
Matt,
first of all,
are you sure you can be exposed to this many words at one time?
No,
4 pages. Too many
If he
Like-
was a Marine, he could handle it, but he was Army, so he can't handle this shit.
shit. Marines eat crayons, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
okay.
No offense
So-
to any
so-
Marines listening. Thank you for your service. Crayons are over there, though.
So the way it works is you're not going to roll more than say 5 encounters. Okay. No, even if you go halfway across Middle Earth, you're not going to roll more than 5 encounters. So when you roll. This part is Middle Earth specific and not really applicable to like say my Majestic Waterland. But you make an embarkation roll, and that sets the tone of how the journey starts out. And then, but here, the heart of it is are these events that occurred. So here you have event 1 with a obstacle, and then you get another event of herbs and stewed rabbit, and then you get a chance encounter. Now
You had me at herb, Rob. You had me at herb.
Okay, so when you say I'm journeying from Roskabel to the Old Fort, you can sprinkle any one of those encounters anywhere along the journey where it makes sense. You can even bunch them all together to make them interrelated. But the way I like it is you can look at it, it's like an idea seed. Okay, so obstacle. So I have to come up with something, there's a suggestion here that the party counters a landslip. So they could be, trying to cross a stream bed, and you can describe that the land strips, and maybe the party's getting exhausted from traveling along the journey, and now they have a chance for a good result, which is something you've been complaining about, Tim. So this is an unequivocally good result that if you make your survival test, you regain a level of exhaustion. And this is more of a role-playing encounter. So maybe just before you reach the Old Ford, when you're on that road that leads down to the Old Ford, you encounter a group from Dwarves of Erebor. And I really like this because it really allows you to tailor things to the circumstances and make it feel like it's more part of the world. And as Tim remembers, once we used it, it turned into a whole adventure in itself.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean the system works. I mean,
It wouldn't work in your systems, in your world, Tim.
fifth. but I tell you what, the Adventures of Middle Earth takes. I mean, it makes you feel like you're actually adventuring there. The way the system is set up.
Back to Kickstarter. I thought it was that, but I don't think it was that. It was a whole different Middle Earth game that just came through. But
Yeah, and I'm not a Tolkien file whatsoever, but the way Rob ran it and the way the system ran it, I I mean, I felt like I was,
Yeah.
whoa, there's infinity going on there.
Psychedelic.
I felt like I was going through it. And I'll tell you what, it's no joke. I mean, I know it's 5th edition, but one encounter in there. Well, of course, there was only 2 of us in our party, and there's no real healing in the system from what I remember.
Yeah, there's no spellcasters.
So it gets real quick, especially on the road.
Yeah, I like that.
Because you got no real shelter, and if you don't have any shelter, then you can't recover shit. So you can appreciate the little journey that the hobbits went on there a lot more. If they use these rules, Frodo would have been dead before he got out of the Shire. I think. I don't know. So
the only Middle Earth game I played was Merps, which the one thing I remember, other than the ridiculous tables, was the fact that for every mile you traveled, you got 1 XP or something. So I'm like, why don't we just circle the Shire forever and just level up? Even breaking the rules back then.
Yeah, always trying to master the.
This is referred to as exploitation.
Yes, that's why I became a lawyer. You can break the rules.
What I like about the Merp's journey rule is the way it economically handled like traveling from huge distances, say from the Long Lake to the other side of Mirkwood. I mean, that's a 500-mile journey, and if you in most traditional encounter system, you would be making 50 rolls to travel that distance. Or here, they handle it. You rolled and you get anywhere between that long of a journey. You'll get anywhere from 3 to 5 encounters, and so it's just
fun fact. Settlers moving west encountered more than 3 to 5 things.
Yes, you could work that, but these are 3 to 5 significant things. This is not taking a leak and seeing a butterfly float by.
But in Tim's world, that would be significant because the butterfly would go right for the throat, and you'd be dead.
Yeah. Why would it make a butterfly that didn't have vorpal ability?
You might survive the butterfly, but it gives you dysentery.
That's what I'm saying.
If that's how your setting is, then make a deadly encounter roll every mile.
That's why I say like the bonus. What you're talking about there, Rob. The bonus of the setting is that you got you're exhausted, but you regained from exhaustion. See, the Colmar Forest would sense exhaustion as a weakness. And then prey upon that weakness and take your ass out because he's exhausted. Let's send 48 trolls at him now. That's the way that.
You forget rolls. It's worse than that because Tim's running so many groups of the Colmar Forest. You have groups of players sabotaging other groups of players, like a certain cloud of gas that's floating.
Is that you? Did you do that shit in the fucking road? Was that you guys? I keep passing this gas cloud in the fucking road. I don't know what the hell it is. Are you fucking?
You burned down a city. What are you talking about?
I didn't burn it down. That was that wasn't me. I didn't burn it.
The gas cloud was Johan's fault. I had a potion of gaseous of gaseous form. We were fighting a Cthulhu horde. 2 of our party, it was a 4-man party.
It wasn't a horde, it was just a big monster.
A Cthulhu monstrosity.
That's enough. You say Cthulhu, you pretty much end it right there. I mean, it's over.
Well, if it was a horde, one potion ain't going to stop it.
Yeah. So it plopped itself on top of the well that the other party members used to get down there. So we managed to hack off a limb, and we were not winning. We're going to die. And then I realized we hacked off one of the limbs. I have a potion of gaseous form. And I said to Tim, if I uncork this and shove this inside of a severed limb, would that count as ingestion? And he cocks his head, and he said, yeah. So I did it, and I made my roll.
I loved it. I love the idea of it. So I'm like, yep, we're going to make this work. Yeah.
And I made the roll, and it floated off.
Because I mean, think of it. That Joe, you can say yay or nay. Just remember Tuesday's coming up quick.
I know.
And Matt and those guys. When I GM, I'm very lenient with what you guys want to do. I'm very if you have an idea and you guys want to throw, I usually run with it.
Dude,
rarely will I say no.
Yeah, you let us make up gods.
What was cool. I mean, he came up with a good idea. I thought Greg's idea about Puce was a lot of fun. I could work it in.
There was a problem with my idea, and that problem is because Tim was running multiple groups. There's now this gas cloud that sometime during the next 2 to 3 days, because of the duration of gaseous form, would rematerialize back into a Cthulhuid horror.
Now
That's
this comes into my philosophy, guys. Now, while I know a potion only lasts 66 turns,
Yeah.
I also subscribe to the JMS philosophy. When someone asks him how fast do you travel in hyperspace, he
Michael
said at the
Straczynski.
speed of plot.
Yeah, there you go.
So
J.
it
Michael
will appear
Straczynski.
when it needs to appear.
Great. Now you warned us on that.
Well,
Wizard
Rob
is
did.
never
I
late.
wish he didn't. I was hoping
Oh,
to
yeah,
surprise
yeah.
you.
No,
Oh, sorry, Tim.
Minus
Thank you,
100
Rob.
XP to Rob.
Thank
now you
Rob.
ruined it. I'm not playing anymore.
Yeah, screw it. I'm burning the whole forest down.
Well, that's nothing new. That's to be expected
Oh,
eventually,
the
sooner or
city's already
later. I
burned
mean,
down. Come on.
you know.
Well,
How
I
did
guess
I
I get a
burn?
new ash forest then. for
How
my
did I
ash elf.
burn Scorn? How was that my fault? I didn't. Snickle
You
didn't
didn't
burn no
stop.
god.
You didn't stop the demon pigs.
I'm 2.5 feet tall with heels.
Ah,
What am I gonna do?
size
Use
doesn't
his
matter, Joe.
excuses.
Apparently, huh?
That's what she said. But I'm
Hey,
2.5 feet
Marcus
tall.
gave him all. Marcus gave him his all. He didn't let the fact that he had some Vander-esque plate mail clad guy and it was totally outclassed.
Banderet. What the fuck is that word? Let me look up French dictionary.
I don't know.
What did you
Yeah,
just say?
I'm sorry.
yeah. What the hell's that?
I'm thinking that the euphemism for Tim's badass character.
No, he was just a big cleric, and you guys were in his way. And I think I pretty much hinted at his badassness way before you got in the fight.
Oh, I know. I knew I was getting into, but I had to make the attempt.
Well, you just said you didn't know he was a Vander-esque.
Well, you had to know he's like 48 hit points or hit dice rather, just because he's your campaign. He's the big bad guy.
Right.
Frog
Yeah. I mean,
Heathen.
I started using the the Immortals. I got out the Immortals box set and started,
Oh, really? There you go.
looking up stuff and
Does explain a lot.
yeah.
That's one of the things I picked up over COVID. I completed my collection of the Beck Me set. I finally got them all. I was kind of happy with that. I got every edition. The only thing I don't have is the OD&D. I have a reprint of like in digest from Tavis Allison gave me a link to some guy who scanned it in fucking 10 or 11 years ago, and he put it on fucking Lulu. And he says, "Here, buy this. It's not public." And you print it up, and it was the old book. You know what I mean? But in one volume. You know, it was kind of cool.
You bought the gray book.
I don't know. It wasn't the gray book. It was just some dude who scanned this shit in and put it like a private link. So I got it sent to me. It was like no cost. He didn't make any money off it. Was his rationale, I think. You know what I mean? So I ended up with a free thing off of there. So that's the only thing I don't have like in an original set. You know,
I bought a copy of the 5e basic rules that way. Somebody posted up the Lulu, and I got the hold of the link, and I ordered it, and then 2 days later, Wizard took it. Had ordered him to take it down.
Nice. You got it though. You got it at least.
Yeah,
That's
I gave it to Dwayne.
Well, I have a question for our resident author here of the giant tome of rules. So
that could be Rob.
What book is that?
Rob
again,
makes
Matt?
light
What's
tone.
it called?
that's that A ambition and French word shit.
It's
that
like-
I can't say.
It's like AA, where you get a chip.
Yeah,
if you
AA.
complete the
What is
book.
it called?
Yeah.
AA?
There you go.
Because we probably are anonymous.
Here's
alcoholics.
a potato chip, as a matter of fact. Greg's
Oh.
token right there.
So I'm wondering how focused, for me,
We're
a
not
hex
at all
call
focused.
involves some solid resource management. So I'm curious. I haven't flipped through the 472,000 pages of the book yet. So I'm curious if you notice it gets longer every time I mention it. I'm curious as to how are we going to encounter that? Is that going to be a primary focus of the exploration, or is it
No,
that not really something in the that you're thinking of?
I personally feel like people get lost in the weeds with, especially with like setting up camp at night and setting up watches and shit like that. For me, you're making an encounter roll. If you got the one hostile encounter, it's going to happen to you at some time. It's not going to happen to you on Joe's third shift of the 12th night of camping. Doing all that bullshit seems insane to me. There's a borderland, and once you go into the borderland, there's no civilized places to be getting rations from. So you are going to have to decide some days, am I going to spend a day searching for food and water in this hex? And there's rules for rolling up to see how much you get for doing that. If you split up as a group, then the encounter is going to fall randomly on one of the people that's been split up. If you search for food and water as a group, then you'll encounter the thing as a group. It's your risk to take. So you might split up, and then you roll up that there's a giant eagle that comes down and he eats Rob's character because Rob was out by himself looking for food.
Rob's always the first one to die anyway. So
he's the Sean Bean of our game.
Yeah.
He is the Sean Bean. I love that. I love that.
I don't know. I got to that place.
Oh, I got to get him a
I'll
Sean
roll
Bean
it.
shirt.
I want to know one thing, Greg.
What's that?
Can we encounter a cow?
There are a ton of cows.
All right, I'm running.
Yes.
Oh God, really?
Tim, Greg had cows.
Well, there's
Wait,
350 hexes.
Can you mimic the sound of a cow better than Tim?
Tim was chewing cud. Who the fuck knows what that sounds like on the East
I knew
Coast?
what it was.
Exactly, on the East Coast. On the East Coast, there ain't a goddamn person except maybe Tim, because Tim's almost not even on the East Coast. You and Rob,
I'm
right?
very
Aren't you?
not
You're
East
like,
Coast.
yeah, you're like,
Very
aren't
not
you
East
like,
I'm Eastern Standard Time, not
like you
East
could throw a
Coast,
rock in it in Nebraska, right, Tim, where you the fuck live? So
No,
yeah,
Canada.
So basically, the way I don't know what a cow. I thought it was a troll. That's all I'm saying. He showed us a troll across the river. We camp on a big high plateau. I hear this sound. And Tim
And this
scares
was
the
before
shit
you
out of me.
even really adventured into Comor Forest.
No, we
You
were just
started.
getting there. We were just walking in. It was like
Now
going
you
already
session
petrified.
two.
rightly so that it was a troll. Then it was like just kind of out of place.
Oh, we lost.
Oh, Joe ran.
Oh.
He's
Uh-oh.
the troll had to
Spilled
go.
his whiskey on the keyboard.
Joe's like, I was causing too much trouble.
Uh-oh.
There
Uh-oh.
he is.
Damn it.
There we go. The 3 people with cameras on top, the 3 people without cameras on the bottom. It's the way it
Yeah.
should be.
There you go.
I'm playing with my big my D20
Oh,
here.
Oh,
and,
easy.
and it hit the keyboard.
I don't want to get
God.
demonetized
And it-
completely at this point.
I don't know what the hell button I hit with that dice,
Matt,
but
to go back to your question, so like to me, I want the thing to be that you've got, and we talked a little bit about this before. I want you to have something you're going for. It's like you're going through the hex, you see some kind of flying creature in the next hex, and you're like, I want to get to that thing's lair and see if there's any treasure up there. So then you start heading off in that direction. The purpose, I want the focus of what you're thinking about and doing to not be on how I need to get through this night of camping with these rules, rolling to see whether something happens on my ship. Do you see what I'm saying?
How focused you were on the resources of it. If it, some people are like, yeah, we're doing a hex crawl, and I'm very loosey-goosey with resources. I'm not like, all right, you guys all need to subtract 1 day's rations. I'm not like,
Well, that's because we don't play long enough to use a ration in your game.
yeah, your whole idea of a long campaign is 3.5 sessions. Maybe with a session 0.
the last campaign,
Yeah.
I think we did 15 sessions before you guys, and I just want to emphasize you guys,
Who's you
split the
guy?
party in thirds, and then one of the characters jumped down the black hole, which took her to, what's that Kickstarter, the planner?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I have no
The
idea.
Are you
last
running
game I
Are you
played-
talking about the game you ran for us or some fictional people?
Yeah, no, Shane's character was down in one room by himself making out with a damn statue.
Oh, he had the bag of dicks too, didn't he?
Yeah, he had the bag of
He
dicks.
had the big
in
bag
that
of
one, yeah.
dicks. That's right. Remember?
Said
He
the
broke
total
all the
whole
dicks
game.
off the statue and he put them in a bag. He had a bag of dicks. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
used it as a weapon too.
Yeah, he did. He was like he's hitting with a bag of dicks.
Yeah, and
No,
then
hey,
his wife
Joe. I
jumped in the
posted
black hole. The party literally went to different planes, and I had 3 different groups of players in the same dungeon. 2 of them were trapped in areas that there was no way they were getting
Yeah.
out of without dying.
That's because you
I
were
was
running
just
us
like-
through that death trap dungeon that you made with Steve, right? That wasn't that one?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Were you in that one? 'Cause
Yeah,
two of the
I
players,
didn't last but 3 minutes. I was the motherfucker in the room that couldn't get out of. I was done.
One of the players literally got so pissed off he threw his headphones and got up and walked away.
Did he really? No shit.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Wow, that's
Oh, yeah, it
awesome.
was great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's worth it.
That's
You
the real
Planner
Dad
Compass,
Jackson
yes,
experience.
Wiki got it. Planner Compass. I was going to take the campaign to Planner Compass, and the players fucked it up. And I just was like, y'all were arguing and fighting, and I was like, fuck it, end this shit.
Rob
Well,
wants to say something.
before I forget, Joe, I posted a link that you should review before Greg's
Where?
campaign.
Where'd you post this?
In the YouTube chat.
Really? I see a link to Chatterbait. Wait, which one are you talking about?
Well, it's from me. It's a YouTube link.
Where are we at? Comment? I don't see it. I'll look at
Okay,
after the
I'll
game.
do it in
Over
the private
there.
chat.
I
I'll
don't
do it in the private chat. There.
Over there, Joe. There you
All
go.
right.
Yeah, there. You need to review that, Joe. Then you won't have any problem.
All right.
With
All right.
what Joe's kept.
It's
Now,
Chatterbait.
all right.
It's Chatterbait again, though. It's
in
Chatterbait.
the actual chat.
So, Rob, since you're a big hex person, and we've kind of shared a little bit, what's the most important thing when you're GMing about hex crawl stuff? Like, what do you find? Like, what's your priority when we're doing that kind of thing?
Potato management.
Vodka production.
Fertilizer.
Docking PCs who sass me for 100 XP a crack.
Oh,
Hey, I won 100 XP earlier, so that's I'm even.
Rob's
right.
the XP Nazi. No XP for you.
It's actually, I wouldn't say it's not a problem for me. It's a problem for me writing. I got to keep in mind writing about it because I do a palace of memory trick to memorize my hex.
Are you using the mentalist terms now?
What?
Huh?
Palace of memory.
Palace of memory. That sounded
Well,
very
it's
1923.
it's a real technique.
I know it is.
That's some
but-
Dale Carnegie shit there.
That's
Sounds
some
like
1960s hippie shit.
Yeah,
But,
like-
but
go ahead.
really,
Crystal's back there in the background anywhere?
I do like the hippie shit, so I'm
Look,
not that's my thing.
Sorry,
Can't
Rob. Go ahead.
you just write things down, Rob?
my notes are shit. But
Oh yeah, his writing is yeah. You don't want Rob writing anything.
Yeah. What my concern is that the players have enough information. That's my concern. Then I just basically sit back and let them choose what they want to choose, and then I look at where they are and just think in my head, what would I see if I was there? And that's what I role play. And we use a random table so that I don't get in a rut. Sometimes the result just naturally comes to me, but most of the time, a lot of times I use a random table because otherwise Rob will start doing Rob things, and then I don't want that. I want to keep the game, a lot of variety in the game. But the players, the players as a group needs to know things, and the players individually need to know things. But once I'm satisfied to have all the information at hand, and basically when they cease asking me questions, I just let them choose what they want to choose. And then before I would roll periodically to see what happened because life throws random stuff at them. But now I'm more inclined with the Middle Earth journey rules that what I'll do is if like the players spend a day in town, I roll like 4 encounters and then sprinkle them out to the day where they would make sense.
See, that's what Tim does too. That I thought, Tim, when you first told me that, I thought it was complete and utter heresy.
What's that?
You would roll up encounters before the session. I don't know, however long, day, 2 days, whatever, before the session. So you knew what the random encounters would be, but you just didn't know when and where they would be. You know what I mean? So
again, that goes to my JMS philosophy. They appear at the speed of plot.
I tell you, I thought
I don't quite do what Tim does. I look for a point, like when you wake up in the morning. That's a good point, and I say, okay, what's going to happen today? And then, sorry, Greg, I do have players set watches, and I will roll. I will make a roll to see what happens that night, and
I do like that.
You don't have to apologize to me for a common practice.
I was going to say, geez.
But a lot of times nothing will happen. But if something were to happen, then I roll to see which watch it will happen on, and then that's the player that will have to initially deal with it. But beyond that, I'm pretty loose as far as party organization goes. But that's basically it. I want players to feel that they have a choice, that they're not making choices in the dark, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Joe, you're like the newcomer to how I run campaign. How did you feel when you're running your elf? Did you feel like you had enough information?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, there was a lot. I had enough information. Let me put it this way: I was playing with people who had played in your campaigns for, in Tim's case, decades, and other guys for a long period of time. And so, while I thought I had enough information personally, these guys had so much more to me that sometimes it was assumed that I knew that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the only difference. That was the only, like, for the game, for what I was doing, I had enough. But I didn't quite comprehend the bigger picture of everything as much as they did, because they've been playing with you for 40 years, Tim. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the same setting.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no way around that. That wasn't at all a DM's fault. There was so much knowledge out there that you had from a 40-year setting that you've been playing in, that there's no way I could know that information. You know, but as far as me, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fine. You know.
And Eric, when you experienced the Russet Lord, Greg, did you feel like you guys had enough information to make decision?
I think that we made a bad decision to hastily fight a person we didn't know much about at the beginning. We paid the price for that. The price could have been a TPK. I would have been fine with it. I think we went in there without any prep. We took the word of a shitty little demon to that he was telling us the truth. If it would just been me, I would have killed that guy and then done more recon. But these guys wanted to go ahead, and I didn't oppose them. So I mean, I'm not saying that as an excuse. I went along with it, personally, I would have killed everyone from a distance like a sniper, gone in afterwards and picked over the corpses. That's my style. These guys were like, let's just go in. So I was like, hey.
I think the difference.
So wait a minute. So you guys as a party went someplace without a plan at all, like going into hell without any preparation or anything?
I brought holy water. I brought holy water to hell.
I had a good talk.
Tim, they killed a bunch of wolves, avoided the room with the freaky ass fire lizard, and then saw a door, opened up, saw the dining room, and looked to the right. Hey, there's the Russet Lord. Let's go in. Lightning bolt down.
Eric's down. Yeah. Yep. That was it. I think, Rob, that the module, right now, this goes back to, as I'm calling it a module, you realize I'm talking about the old shit that was a standalone kind of stuff that you did at a convention or over a couple sessions, right? The module aspect of it has some baked in setting expectations that may not work for the casual player who just wants to run in, kill shit, and take their stuff, right? Mm-hmm. There are some baked in expectations. The first and foremost is that the characters give a fuck about anything other than their self-worth and their gold and their leveling up and winning the adventure, right? There's a lot of expectations in there that you'll do the right thing, or not expectations, but maybe assumptions that most people will do the right thing if under the right circumstances. And me and Greg at the beginning were like, why ain't we killing everything in sight? You know, so there was I toned it down after that, but there was sort of it's a different take on things. It's a setting module rather than a standalone.
Well, we also we let ourselves get taken in by that little whatever the hell he was called, the little demon guy,
the little elf dude.
Our mission was to go in and get money from the priest.
We should have
just killed that guy and then gone in and got the money from the priest. Instead, we were like, let's go talk to this fairy guy in the woods. Like,
well, that goes back to
what the hell plan was that?
That goes back to the good tendencies assumption under characters. A chaotic neutral group or even an evil group, that adventure would have gone sideways. You see what I mean? Because a lot of it wouldn't have happened, Rob. That's the only thing I can think of that your setting bled over into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, yeah, you're right. That you think that would be true, but when you run run this adventure enough times, you start to see patterns. And so, I mean, I haven't run the Russet Lord as nearly as long as the Demon Wolf, but the thing is, the parties just don't do what you think. They don't act in a chaotic manner. When they're confronted to these situations, there's variety in how they approach it. Like you were actually the first group who said, "Okay, kids, see ya. Just go to the bishop. We'll talk to you later."
Yeah.
Every other group not necessarily out of the goodness of his heart, realized that having two teenagers running away, they realized, one, they were running away, and two, they realized their social differences, and that was not a good thing. So they every other group either decided to stash the kids in the woods because they were pro kids and wanted to talk to the dad first.
Hey, we are pro kids, my friend.
Yes, you were. You were.
Did you run those other adventures? Did you run them with people who are familiar or former players of your setting? Because Greg's approach and almost my approach was, slash and burn, loot, kill, and everything. You're right. So because we're not familiar with your setting,
consider a slightly more.
Well, I ran them at convention, so yes,
okay.
I ran it with players.
Yeah. Okay. My plan was wait till dark, come back, get the money we're owed, and leave. Let's not smash and destroy everybody. I would be fine.
But that's how it would turn out. That's how.
I will tell you what happened. So if you would have done what you said, Greg, you would have killed the Fey guy and just left him dead. And okay, so first of all, you still haven't resolved the tension in the town. So regardless of if you ignore the rest of the Lord, you still have the problem of the knight and the peasants hating each other.
But nobody would have cared. That's the problem, Rob. You assume they care. Our job was to get the gold from the temple, dude, and get back to wherever the hell we came from, right?
But think of the timing. You would have gone there and got the temple, but you would have had to stay the night, right?
Yeah.
And guess what had happened? Guess what would have happened?
It's not like I have to go to the Econo Lodge. That's the only option. I could get the hell out of town.
Yeah, go in the woods. Beat the cleric up, take his shit, and leave.
Okay, if you would have done that, that's where the adventure would have ended. And what would have happened is as part of my, so it ended after the second session. So that's when it would have happened. And you would have heard when you got back to the bishop court a day or two later, one, you would have heard that there was a riot in the town.
Yep.
Then the day after, and there was like all kinds of mayhem. So you would have gotten a lot of people in the bishop town excited about that because, oh my God, that's not a good thing. There's a peasant revolt. We got to do something about. But the day after, then you would have heard that the whole place got burned down by orcs.
But we go back to Greg's point of who gives a fuck. If it's a one-shot module, right, and it's not part of a setting, who gives a fuck?
Well, what I'm hearing maybe is once you get
design.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Once you get done with the Rob, maybe you should give it to Joe to look at it and maybe just to see if there's anything to because I know what he's saying with that, but like you said, Joe, gives a shit about it. I mean, but that's part of any adventure, though, because I mean, who gives a shit if there's a dungeon?
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have to give a shit of something. Exactly.
How many people bought?
That's the beauty of the hex crawl is if you don't want to go into that dungeon,
you don't have to.
Somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Rob's big hook is the kids, and and I think almost everybody bites on that one, Rob, don't they? Yeah.
You did bite on it. You just didn't deal with the aftermath in the same way. But you interact with the kid.
Joe's home in the Como Forest. His whole life is driven by protecting kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
in this module, he doesn't give a shit about kids.
But I almost made you cry. I almost made you cry during a session.
You did. You got all choked up, man.
I was like did. A little bitch. I made Joe cry.
A little kid died. Little kid died. Don't kill little kid in D&D. You don't do that. But Tim does. The Goa Forest. Little kids die. You don't do that.
Well, who didn't act fast enough? Huh?
I know, guilt. Now I'm gonna have to go therapy and shit now for this.
Yeah.
So, Greg, are you telling me? So you go in there, so everything plays out like we did up to the point where you found the elf guy and killed him, and you go back to the abbot, demand the money. He collects it for you. Probably will have it by the morning because they have to collect everything together. But you would have been riding herd on it to make sure it happened. But you would have had to stay overnight in order to take it back.
You wouldn't have to stay in town, Rob. All you have to do is camp outside of town somewhere.
So let me see. You're carrying 10 pounds of silver in full view of everybody in the town. Because you weren't being particularly secretive. The smart play would have been you guys to go into the nearby forest with 20 pounds of silver.
Why would they all see us?
Huh?
Why would they all see us? There's the
See,
question.
Rob's thinking of GM Fiat ways to kill us now. See, he's not going to let us just have taken the money and goes, oh, it'll take me time to get the thing. Oh, here come all my solutions.
Sneak in the middle of the night, get that head priest in his bedroom, beat the fuck out of him with like the soap in the fucking sock trick, like I saw in that movie Platoon or something, right? You beat the fuck out of him right in the stomach, and he can't do anything about it. It hurts like
whoa!
Right?
Why would you sneak in the night why would you sneak in the middle of the night to beat him with the soap?
Because then you could beat the fuck out of him.
Joe's MO, you know.
Then you get the money.
Hold on. But you're skipping a couple steps. So you went into town, you interact with the knight, just like the way we did it, and then what would cause you to decide to go into the abbey at night to beat up the abbey?
I'm talking about this. That's the second conversation.
Because
the first conversation is
pay
pay
us
me.
Money.
Exactly. The first conversation is, hey, bitch, pay me. And he's, I need time. Okay, we leave. We camp in the woods. Midnight, we go into his room. We beat the fuck out of him and say, where's your money, bitch? Pay me. Pay me. I seen Goodfellas. I know how that shit works.
Okay. So I will tell you the most likely outcome of that. All right.
I think
so you
he's
go
saying
in
you
there,
need to murder hobo proof your adventure.
That's what I'm saying, Rob. Murder hobo proof it. Exactly.
I don't need to
Matt,
mirror.
I agree with you.
I'm telling you what will happen if the murder hobo gone through it. So you did that. You would have gone in there. You would have snuck in there, used all your stealth skill, make a good plan. Although with this group, I'm not sure of the good plan part, but I'm going to assume this time you did a good plan. So you go in there, your good plan. You nab the abbot.
Beat him up.
The abbot is in the room.
Yep.
Now you're sure you take a shit, but it's not the 10 pounds, the 20 pounds of silver that you need to carry out of there. He doesn't have it in his room.
All right. We put the knife to his throat, walk him down the hallway.
We're not preventing him from moving from room to room while we beat him.
You walk him into
this is like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Option so you walk him through the abbey to where the treasury is.
Yep.
Okay. So
open the door. Where's my money?
Now, if you don't encounter anybody, okay, you go to the treasury, grab the money. Then what?
You
leave.
You leave after you knock him unconscious, and that's if they never knew we were there. Put him in his bed, knock his ass unconscious, go into the woods,
forget me stick, and you leave.
And you leave into the woods.
Okay, that's fine. So you leave in the woods. You survive the random encounters, or maybe you don't get any random encounters.
Yep.
You head back to the bishop,
and we win.
That is an acceptable outcome to the event.
That's right.
And we win.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just
the only problem I have is you guys just knocked the bishop out. If you were true,
it's an abbot.
Whatever.
We were told, Matt. We were told not to kill him.
Some pervy cleric type. Were we told not to kill him? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he said he didn't want violence. He didn't want damage to the church either.
I must have blocked that out.
So what happened with the Scourge, an incident like that happened with Scourge of the Demon Wolf, except they weren't, since they were there more to get the harvest, there wasn't something they could do like what you described. But they got to town, they interact with the village, they bed down for the night, and two of the players decided to rob the church.
All right.
The village church. So they concocted a plan. They went into the village put. I made a roll on the chart I made beforehand. The demon wolf pack was about, and so they got the silver. They found out where they were keeping the treasury, and they grabbed the service, like the goblets and stuff, and the silver pieces, and they got out the door, and they hear the howling of wolves, and they're like, okay, we head back to where we're staying, and they were a couple 100 yards away. The wolf bagged them, and we ensued combat, and I took down one of the players with the loot in hand did fucking shit, started running, but the wolf you know how me, I like to use minis and maps, so the wolves were between him and where he had to go, so he ran the opposite direction, found a tree, climbed up into the tree, and that's where he stayed all night with this loot in hand.
You notice how Rob just made it personal? He started off with the wolves, did this, old as that, then he's like, and then I took him out. You notice how personal it got there?
Yeah.
See? Did you notice that? Did you catch that little slip of tongue there? You know?
Sure. Yeah, you caught me out there. But seeing it when it comes to a TPK, I don't relish in it, but I will take responsibility for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's any like when you
Oh,
do those
live by the
one-shot
sword, die by the
adventures,
sword, man.
I mean, it's easy to like kind of do that kind of action where you're just playing reckless bandits and everything. But Rob's adventures, I think, a lot of time have a campaign kind of setting in mind. So if you did that in his campaign, then there would be ongoing consequences probably for doing that.
Yeah, but in this case, Tim, that was.
Oh,
in
I
alignment with our
understand. I
mission.
understand what you guys are talking about because it's a feasible thing. I just understand where Rob's coming from too, the way he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rob always
that's
thinks
why I said because Joe would be a good one to read because Joe is like the ultimate power game and is always looking to fuck over an adventure, and he could point those things out to Rob.
Yeah. And
I mean, I used to do that. That's what Dwayne, because we had another friend named Dwayne who was very good at finding our holes in our stuff. And I mean, he would just go through it and then like, there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole. And then, you're like, son of a bitch, why did I give it to him? And then, it starts sewing up all these freaking holes and everything. It's like, shit, I didn't even see
That's good
those.
playtesting, man.
I do a lot of that when I edit your stuff for the zine, Tim. Wow, I saw you posted something, and I got an email on your zine lately. What's up?
So,
for the Kickstarter,
the Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, the last batch. I mean, not that it's interesting, but for those who backed it, I'm sure they're interested. That I'm finally getting the last batch of art from Diogo. He's writing up drawing up the last bits, which is great. It's just taken me 10 months to get my artwork, unfortunately, for these things, which I was
it is not the editor's fault. It is not the editor's fault.
No, it is definitely not the editor's fault.
Not the photographer's fault either.
No, and it is definitely not all the artist's fault either. It's definitely mine and that too. So, but things are catching some steam again. So I'm hoping to be getting that back and just showing some folks what they're gonna be getting here soon, and definitely refocusing on it. It's one of those things like, after my back got hurt, I wasn't doing shit too. So it kind of hindered my thing, but I can't blame it on that either. So there's just a part.
In the email, Tim, you said you had a piece of art you couldn't show because the size was fucking you up. Can you do a screen share?
No, it was weird because
something?
it was weird. On Kickstarter you can upload like a 200 meg picture.
Yeah,
but mine was like 2.5.
Can you pull it up right now?
Error.
Pull it up now. Pull it up now.
I did.
Click that.
I tried to do it earlier today, and it still kept on saying loading error, which I never had before.
I mean, put it on your screen of your computer,
and
then
put
click
it on
the share button.
Sure.
You could like give the exclusive preview here on the show, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I can do that.
Tim, do you have Photoshop?
No. I don't use
Photoshop, Tim. If you have
if
problems,
you just open the image in Photoshop or a similar program, you can save it with lower resolution quality or some kind of thing like that. It'll
well, I have one that I do, but I shouldn't have to. I mean, it was allowed 200 megs, and mine was only 2 megs.
Huh, that's weird. Maybe a format or something.
No, it was a TIFF. It accepts TIFF.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can show it here if you pull it up on whatever video.
Now, this one you should recognize, Joe.
All right. Okay, what we got?
How do I press
share button?
You gotta
hit the share and then choose your screen.
Oh, there it is. Share screen. Make sure.
And then choose the thing you want to show.
Close
all.
You
need to warn any children that are watching.
Matt was already talking about what's between his legs early on, so the kids are scared away at this point. What we got here?
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you remember that one, Joe?
Yeah.
Did you say
Yeah, I do. That's
the model?
Yeah. That's the halfling that went with. No, that's not the halfling. Did I have a halfling or a dwarf? I know the scene.
That's a dwarf.
That wasn't the guy with me though. The halfling was the one.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't you per se, but you recognize the scene.
Oh fuck yeah, man! It was scary shit.
Yeah, look, Joe didn't know he was playtesting some of these crypts that'll be in the
Dude, that's awesome with the hands coming out of there, the shadow hands. That's awesome, man. And you got to have the holy symbol on the tank card there of the great imbiber, dude. Oh, nice, man. That's the statue in the fucking sewer.
Yep.
That's it right there.
Yep.
That's perfect. That's fucking perfect, man.
So yeah, that's so like the artwork for a few of the adventures are done, and I'm waiting on the last one. David, no, it's not the wrong format. Because I read all the TIFF or all the files that it accepted, because I thought that was it too, but it accepted TIFFs and that. But and again, Matt, it was in the acceptable range of file sizes. So
it's nice.
See, do I have another one back there?
Dude, that's totally the statue that I saw in the fucking sewer.
That's and then awesome. Here's another one. I'll share that one there too.
Oh, that's nice.
What you got?
Very nice.
Oh wow.
Although the fighter leg looked like he has the Minotaur legs.
Yeah.
By the way, if you wake up in the morning at the Church of Pausanias, the little shrine in Hounshead, and you walk 300 feet across town to the inn to have breakfast, this is what will happen to you in the Colmore Forest in Hounshead. So be prepared if you're ever there.
Always wear your armor and take all your gear.
You gotta go to the outhouse to take a piss. Armor up, motherfucker.
Never leave it. Yeah, never leave it back in the room with you at the end.
Don't forget your Toblerones.
And this is one of my favorite things about writing adventures is, hey, because when I give someone about the artist what I want, I kind of give them some loose parameters. I give them as much direction as they want, but usually I kind of want to give them loose stuff because I want to see what they bring to the table too. And with Diogo, I got to say his name right, Diogo. I just kind of said, hey, I got this one scene, it's kind of a generic skeleton encounter. Make it cool. I said, just have a lot of skeletons and have someone in the shit because there's just so many of them and they're getting overwhelmed. And then of course I get stuff like this and I'm like a little kid in
this is good. Is that Kojak?
Christmas. Christmas when I get the art because it's always cooler than whatever I thought of. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of my favorite things is getting artwork and that.
That's nice.
So I'm making progress. Unfortunately, it's slow, but we're it'll get done. I mean, it's definitely going to get done. I just don't know what the timeline is for everything yet, but it's going to be sooner than later. I just don't know what sooner is yet.
You know what's great about that picture is that you got the dude, Kojak, let's call him, fighting 5 skeletons, and there's a pool of blood on the ground. You don't see a wound on him, but he's the only living thing there with things that could bleed. So he's bleeding, but you don't know.
Or it's somebody's failed attempt at throwing an oil flask.
Yeah, that could be too.
Just kind of just leaked out or whatever. Yeah, and then the cool thing about this one, this is the first time I'm ever going to do a third-party publisher.
Oh,
so like doing? Before when I would get artwork, I'd always have to say, please take it easy on the black space because I'm doing this at home. Where now I don't have to worry about that. Okay. I'm getting a third party publisher to do it, so I can do the black space, which I love. I don't have to be careful with it. I can just do it as is, and I still don't know where I'm going to publish it because it sounds like Mix'em has been like screwing the pooch lately and just not been real good. So I've got some alternatives lined up actually that I'm going to contact, but that's a nice thing. And then like, instead of doing this, like this picture in particular, I may make that a full page spread or go across 2 pages or
that's it could even get covered, Tim. You know, both sides.
Well, I
of the
already got
cover?
my cover. My cover's already
Okay,
covered,
okay,
kind of thing.
okay.
So
Cover's
that
covered.
I'm not too worried about. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I mean, and the pieces that he's working on, you'll appreciate, Matt. There, it happens near Low Hill during the Halfling Village over there. So they kind of get into the mix too. And there's a couple halfling, like a halfling picture, which is kind of funny.
Are they correct halflings?
Are they correct halfling? Well, since they're mine, absolutely.
Okay, good.
You know what I'm
That's
missing
Hey,
on this?
Tim, can I show the
Did
map?
you consider my halfling to be acceptable, Matt?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, when I first got your PDF, the first thing I did was go look at halflings because I was concerned there weren't halflings, and then I was concerned that if there was, they were wearing shoes or some other insane nonsense. And I was like, oh no, they're good. They're
Matt
good.
has a hairy foot fetish, boys and girls. That's why.
Rob, what'd you ask?
Do you want me to show some of the maps I did?
Oh yeah, Rob did some of the maps. Yeah, I don't care.
Cool.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Screen.
Yeah, I remember the issues you had last time, Tim, with that printer. I mean, it was like fucking up. The format was fucking up. It was like a million.
Well, that was part of my program I was using too. When I switched programs, I had less problems.
Yeah.
But
what's this?
So one of the things I got to do this time, I played with fills. These are like what you see here. I bought a CD of. So let me back up. The old war game maps, hex encounters like Avalon Hill and SPI used to make. They use dry transfer sheets to transfer it on to the pasteboard that they were using for the map, and there were standard things that you could buy from Zipatone or Letraset. And I was lucky in that I got a Letraset CD with the stuff scanned in. So when Tim enlisted me for this project, I said, can I go kind of, and I showed him an example of what I was talking about. Can I go crazy with the fills? He said, sure. So as you can see, you know, like this is like the earth, the dirt, and this is more like the stone rubble, and these are like the actual constructed walls.
Rob, is that 5 foot squares?
I believe so, yeah.
So what you're seeing on the far right of that map, boys and girls, is an example of Tim Shorts. That is a 10-foot long rot grub. All right. So you better keep in mind, lots of rot grubs in this goddamn images.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right.
Am I right? See.
Yeah.
I learned how to think.
This particular one though is not going to be in the zine. This one.
Okay.
But yeah, you're not wrong.
I prefer the next
All right,
smaller, but fly.
So
yeah. Well, as you can see, like now, see if Rob would have sent that map to me when I was printing this myself, I would go, Rob, get rid of the black space around there. My God.
Yeah.
So,
sacrifice to the ink gods.
That's $10 of ink, motherfucker.
but yeah, I mean, because I hand drew all these maps, but the thing is like my hand maps are fine when you got them in print. But I wanted to people who went to PDFs, you know, or whatever, and they have the maps, and if they run it on a VTT or something like that, Rob's maps look so much better.
Yeah.
You know, so you can size them up and everything. So, and then Rob's maps are always fantastic anyway. So I definitely wanted to get him involved with the thing.
I was telling my brother the other day about that fucking vest that Matt must have been brain damaged to pick up that fucking vest and put it on because it was creepy. It was tied around an undead guy, right? In the middle of a lake, and he was like had a chain on him going down to a rock, so he couldn't get out. And he was dead, but not dead. He wasn't like undead in terms of a zombie rot, but he had this. Everything else rotted off him. His body was still fresh, and he had a fucking vest on him. So we pull the dude out. Matt takes the vest and puts it on. I'm like, you know what? This is the dumbest thing ever. Have you not played it?
Favors the bold, my friend.
Oh yeah. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how good that works. But the weird thing about it was that Tim described this guy underwater as every couple minutes it looked like he would like sort of move, and like talk or move his mouth, and then he would stop for a while. So I'm describing this to my brother, and I'm like, you know what? I bet you Tim had the guy come back to life and drown every 5 fucking minutes. I bet you that's what it was. Tim was drowning a guy over and over again for 10,000 years every 5 fucking minutes. I'm like, that's how Tim rolls in the Colmore Forest. I'm saying this out loud to my brother. It came to me at that moment. That's what that creepy shit was all about. Tim, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Was that what was going on?
I'm not saying a thing.
Oh, you fucker. That's how he rolls. That's the creepy ass shit you're going to see. Some guy being drowned, and every 3 minutes goes back to life. What's that?
That's just the Greek mythology kind of suffering.
That's evil.
Creepy shit aside.
See, I'm not all Anglo-Saxon there. I got some Greek.
So creepy shit aside.
There's no Constantinopolises in your settings there, buddy.
Oh, well, there's Eastgate that you guys just haven't encountered yet.
You probably burnt it down during one game session you were playing for the fuck of it.
So this is another one, and this one I was experimenting with how to make the waterfall look good in black and white or grayscale. So I made this as like the waterfall, then I did this texture as like turbulent water. So I hope it looks good. And then I grade this out compared to the dark. So this is the below ground stuff, and this grayed out area is the above ground.
Tim, is
this is one of my favorite things to do, and Joe can contest for this. Is like it looks like a very simple map, but it's gonna fuck with you.
Oh yeah,
bad.
it's gonna yeah. There's all kinds of evil in that fucking thing. I can see it coming now. You know, it's not good. Tim, are you gonna have a PDF version of this for people too, or no?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, there's gonna
cool.
I mean, like there was an option for just PDF and then or PDF and print. I mean, I keep my Kickstarters, simple. I don't do what do you call it?
Add-on.
What are those things called? Stretch goals?
Stretch goals. Yeah.
Stretch goals or anything. I mean, I was thinking about doing that for this one, but I'm like, no, I'm glad I didn't on top of this. But no, I usually just offer buy me a coffee one, which is $1, the PDF level and a PDF print level.
That's good because this is perfect for Roll20 or some.
The only thing I might add in the future is a retail level because I've had a few retailers contact me about.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's enough
really
out there that want a few, few copies for their store or whatever. I mean, and it's not a ton. It's not a lot. I think it's 2.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'll be making bank on it or anything. But, or even I wouldn't even call it a retailer. Maybe somebody just wants to have like 3 or 4 for a game too. I don't know, and that way they can buy a lot of 3 or 4 for maybe a little bit less or something like that. I don't know.
When you come up here for the con in the fall here, when you come up for what the fuck is that, Eric? You've come to ShireCon. ShireCon. You come up to ShireCon in September, Tim. Bring a stack of those things because we could drop off a game stores and that complete strategist because we're going to hit there on Sunday. And I hear there may be a plan in the works to kidnap your ass, you and Ivy and all the dogs, and drag your ass up here just to make sure that you fucking get here.
Oh, leave me behind. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, Rob lives down the road.
That's true. No, we just found that out. I thought it was an hour away. So, yeah. So, Matt, when your nefarious plan comes, oh, shit, I blew the plan. Matt, when you rent the fucking RV, pick everybody up, all the dogs and pets, and drag their asses up here, man. That's the plan.
So this is the next map. This is the next map. It's a 2-level dungeon. Basically a burrow and the level underneath.
Mm-hmm.
This one I like. This one has an above ground building, and then it has a shaft, which I get to do in black because Tim's using print on demand.
Tim, was that the thing in the halfling area? Sorry, Rob. Was that what I was looking at there? It's been a long time since
and everything like that. No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
No.
So it has a couple of rooms, but they're offset by 90 degrees, and you have to. Those white things are like the stone projection, Tim, that you have to walk on to get down there.
Yeah.
And then there's water. If you slip and fall, there's a water down, deep water.
And nothing happens when you go into water.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So this is Tim's original drawing.
Oh, that's cool, man.
And then there's this one. So this one is kind of like a burrow. It's a chamber carved out of a hillside. sealed with a plug, uneven steps. Then it has a crack in the floor, which leads to this area. And this, as you can see, this gray crack mirrors this crack, and then shows you the dungeon.
There's the skeleton room with all the little skeletons up in there. That's where that one piece of artwork's from. Yeah. So.
Wait a minute, what's the difference? Oh yeah, Tim wanted darker walls, so I gave him darker walls.
The advantage of not being print on demand.
Yes.
So now, are you giving away secrets of the adventure by telling us all these maps?
I don't
think
people are going to die way before they even get to these maps.
Yeah, they're going to die in the water.
Die in route to that first door.
Yeah.
They're going to die in character generation.
Traveler.
How many of you guys died in my campaign so far?
Rob croaked. Matt croaked.
You didn't die, Matt. What'd you die?
I died. You killed Egret. You just pussied up and had her come back.
I still think he did. I still think he bitched out and let Matt live a little bit.
100% think he bitched out.
You. I never heard of his death at below zero setting until until Matt went below zero.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was like the whole party was
maybe I had to counteract
we were all about to die, and then it was like, oh no, everybody hits, and then the monster goes, oh, and dies. Like,
we did roll three nat 20s.
You guys won initiative, and then you guys all rolled 20.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane.
I tallied the hit point. And I looked up the Froggamoth OSE stats afterwards.
Froggamoth.
Afterwards or during, Rob?
He's still going on the name.
Froggamoth. I like Froggamoth. That sounds cool.
It's the Froggamoth.
I don't know. The stats I found, it was significantly tougher than what we fought.
Well, wait a minute. How many hit dice were
we fought a baby one.
It was like 79, I think.
Hit dice?
79 hit dice?
That sounds right for Tim's game.
Sorry, hit points. And it also said that while you were inside it, you could not attack it. I know I was attacking it.
Oh.
But I mean, whatever. It's a game. I mean, we all live. Yay.
So
now just count your stars lucky.
I now have a best
Guardians of the
demon
Galaxy
company.
too.
Okay.
He's
because
calling
I don't
out
need rule books to tell me how to run a game.
He's calling out his DM. He's calling out his DM for letting him live.
I know. It's amazing. And the thing is,
how dare you not kill my character? I demand to get killed.
If you guys would have lost initiative, 3 characters would have died.
I know. Not Snickle though. Snickle had that escape route plan from the very first initiative roll. I was positioning.
Before the
Matt, there's a chat log. You can do the math.
This way, guys.
Matt, there's a chat log. You can add up the damage dice like I did.
That's way too detail oriented, man. I don't have the.
We lost Greg.
We lost Greg.
No, you just like your story and you're sticking to it.
Go ahead, Eric.
We are at 2 hours. And
2 hours and
minutes. I mean,
3 hours.
I know the advantage that those of you without cameras have. You can get up and take a leak whenever you need to, but some of us actually have bladders, and we don't. And we actually.
I think I pissed twice already.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
No, I saw after the fact. We never missed you during it. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad about my bladder after watching you guys. You guys are like getting up and going.
The Russet Lord has returned.
I just
put me on backstage for some reason.
The Russet Lord has returned.
I had nothing, Greg. I had nothing to do with it. All I know
whatever. I was just going to show my.
We were just tired of hearing about your game book.
Whatever.
Leave your privates in your pants. All right. I was here. All right.
So Greg just shows
this. I'm gonna go. Hold on. I gotta say one thing.
I gotta piss.
All the shit that I'm giving Greg about his book, I ordered the fucking hardback of it.
I have the hardback. It's awesome.
I ordered the hardback. It'll be here probably next week. So
they're starting in this town Morio here, in kind of the upper middle of the map. They can go anywhere. I'm very curious about where they're going to go. There's encounters everywhere, even in the civilized areas. So we'll see if anybody wants to offer them some suggestions.
Leave them in a chat.
Who knows where they're going to go?
Because we can always use comments after the show. It helps the algorithm. Oh my God, I actually said that. Oh geez, I sound like one of those YouTube.
You're
assholes.
a YouTuber, huh?
I mean, yeah, give it a like, subscribe, and give it a comment. Jeez. as I said at the beginning of this episode, this is the shit that we do to each other, for each other, with each other. Pretty much, at least for me, it's every Monday. The rest of these guys game more than I do. So I mean, God bless.
Iron sharpens iron.
Not everybody has the awesome job that Greg has. We get paid to game.
Keep rubbing it in. We're gonna like kick you out of the group. Every day he talks about his awesome life. It's depressing.
But listen, I in a private chat, it was like, wow, Tenkar's being really quiet today. I was being quiet because I was actually, for the most part, keeping up with the fucking chat going on from the live stream and getting it on the screen. Something I can't normally do when it's just me and one other because I'm part of the chat. But I've got 5 very strong personalities that can all like hold us on their own, and I say that with true affection. So, thank you to all my co-hosts.
Might be the last one, huh?
Yeah, no. But the next time that we want Tim with the camera.
I have returned, and you guys are leaving. What the fuck? I took a piss.
And
I
next
came back.
time,
You're all
if
done.
people get out of line,
Uh-oh.
They'll get the anal
Take the
probe
sword
out.
from the stone. You better watch out.
Is that a potato slicer?
Boys and girls,
Oh.
ambition and avarice too.
Oh, there he is.
There it is.
Oh, there
Look at that
it is.
book.
wait a minute. Where's the ruler? We want it measured. We want measurements.
Measurements. That's getting a little kinky, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah,
Don't
What?
I
worry.
did have
This
the anal
is-
probe earlier.
Ambition and avarice truly
There it
can
is.
stop a bullet. Very good
No.
book, though.
It's much thicker than the first edition.
Oh, yeah.
It does 1d4 subdual damage in combat.
I found the old edition. Yeah.
And for all you old fuckers, font nice and fucking big. You can read that shit.
Yeah.
You can read that, all right? You don't
Nice.
need glasses. Maybe not.
Matt might need
But
glasses.
most of us can read it. All right.
Hey, Greg, you know he likes you better because he didn't lose your book behind the shelf.
If you didn't print a tiny digest book, Rob, I wouldn't have lost it. I pushed all the books back, and here's Rob's book, which I will be raffling away because I thought I fucking didn't send it to you because I lost it behind something because it's tiny. Rob, again, back with the font. Great book, bigger font.
Is that
That's
a
all I'm
hardback?
saying. That's a hardback, man. Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
a
raffle
hardback.
this. I'm gonna give it away.
I don't have a hardback. I don't want it. Give it away to somebody else. I already have the paperback.
I'll give it
I
to you,
didn't
man.
See,
know you had
that
it.
book's only doing 1d2.
I know it's
Yeah.
kind
I
of
gave
yeah.
everybody coupons for the hardback and the softback.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's concealable.
That's true.
True. This is the
know?
crotch guard, and Greg's is the chest guard. That's what we're talking about here, right? I mean, that's
Okay.
just fucking it.
The crotch
If I
is
get
good.
my buddy's crossbow, I might see if I can put a crossbow through Greg's book.
I don't think you can.
Just-
I don't think you can. I think
I don't
Daryl
think
from
I can
Walking
either.
Dead couldn't take this book out, man.
You know there's a video out there showing
no.
somebody shooting the Heroes 5th edition book with a 22.
Did it work?
They had a 22 stopped it, but not a 357 Magnum. Yeah, go look on the
Yeah, I
YouTube search.
I think
Heroes
Greg's book could stop at
See,
22.
Eric, you were trying to reel it in, and it just kept
No,
going
no.
off the rails.
Listen, I do believe that Bill Webb took The Blight, which is like a huge
Oh,
fucking book.
freaking huge! Yeah,
Right, and he has a large amount of space. A farm has an unofficial shooting range on his property, and the 22 and the 38 did not penetrate, but the 44, I think, blew the cover off.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, just a little side note, folks. We
On
are
that
going to
note-
wrap because if we don't, we might as well break out the dice at this point.
Exactly.
And nobody wants to watch us play live. You might think you do.
Nobody.
Don't
Nobody.
Roll
I
a one.
don't.
Nobody.
Oh, I'm sure
Nobody
there's one
wants
or
to see
two.
that. Folks, we're still in the midst of the world of COVID. Listen, use your common sense. I'm going to leave it like that. They're rolling back restrictions, even New York State. But use your common sense. Other than that, again, thank you to everybody, not just the live stream listeners and anybody listening later on. The 5 miscreants with me. I'm probably the lead miscreant. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. Unless you're Tim, in which case you're going to roll ones. But unless he's a
Yes,
DM.
this is true.
Unless
Yes,
he's
I'm
a
a
DM.
GM.
He's
Yeah.
a DM. He's a killer DM with those dice. He would be amazed.
Yes.
But as a player, it's ones. And I'll be back tomorrow with a live stream at 8 o'clock with Rage for Gamers Health. I believe I'll be back every day, but live streams are on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We are about 18 subscribers away from giving away $250 worth of drive-through RPG. Wait, drive-through RPG? I want to see drive-through RPG now.
Hey, don't you still have to do a pink hair run through Central Park naked or something?
Not Central Park and not naked.
All right.
I gotta wear the.
I was trying to get Matt turned on there. All right, what are you doing then?
What?
No. I gotta wear.
Do you have a gnome outfit?
Outfit that I wore
Gnome
at Forest
outfit.
Park with Rach and Shannon, and they'll record it. And,
all right, when's that coming? Because you don't be accused of dodging that shit because that's
dude. What month is it?
Dude, it's just where
If I wear anything on it, then nobody sees it, right?
Yeah, it'd be funny though. It'd be funny. Yeah. You got to admit, freezing your nuts off out there.
No, I'm not freezing my nuts
Shrinkage! It was shrinkage, Jerry.
Shrinkage, I tell you. Listen, we got
I bet you could get a giant potato costume
when we hit 1,250 subscribers. We're about 18 away. And it's going to be given away Wednesday, both Friday podcasts and the Saturday podcast. So we will all be taken care of somehow. Not these guys. I mean, you all watching.
You know what? We should do kind of a show one of these days where we get some of our old gaming books and just have a giveaway show where we just kind of raffle them off through the show with different things.
The horror. No, I'm not giving it any away.
Rach would love that. She would love the idea of me giving away shit.
I'm looking on the shelf. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players handbooks, 6 DM guides, a lot of D&D. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Monster Manual 1s, 4 Monster Manual 2s, 2 Fiend Folios, 4 or 5 Unearthed Arcanas, 3 Deities and Demigods. Yeah, exactly. I might need to just to free up some fucking space on the shelf. I keep getting more stuff.
Tim, he always has dangerous thoughts. And that's when he's not in the privacy of his own home. Oh, he is, actually. Never mind. All right, folks. Thank you much.
Please don't kill me, Tim.
Hey, I got to get past your game first.
Oh my God! I'm ending the cast now, folks. All right.
Night.
Later.